Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, first and foremost, as you may have noticed, very, very tragically, we will not be having Steph with us. She's got some personal stuff going on in life, so she is out for the foreseeable future, which is unfortunate. So we have a new seat to fill. If anyone knows anybody, please let me know. As a reminder, 2 free sessions if your person makes it to their first session. Yeah, quick, good way to earn a couple extra sessions. But anyway. Let's hop to it. Why? Oh, right. I have to turn off all my sound over here. Okay, you guys have undertaken a contract on behalf of the proconsul of the Rock of Brawl. He has enlisted your work to go take out a rival's resources. He told you all, well, he told Etharrith to, go to his lair on the world of Capri and gave you the coordinates and to take all of his shit, take all of his magical shit, ruin his very magical day, and yeah, and that's it. And little beknownst to all of you as Ethar's return. He's like, we've been contracted to kill this guy, and so yeah, we're gonna go kill him. So you are on your way to the water world of Capri and have made it there. You have come to this big, beautiful, lush planet with the Arctics are snow capped. The equator is this green ring of seaweed land, and the waters are crystal clear. You were warned by a certain gnome that you met who was running a little potion shop off the back of a Kindori, literally. Sold you guys some potions and gave you some advice and said if you're going to the beautiful, beautiful world of Capri, don't eat anything. It's probably very toxic to you. So don't do it. Um, and yeah, with that, you guys submerged underwater with your big, bad, beautiful ship, going down, down, deep, deep, deep into the sea of Capri. It's going to take a while to reach the bottom. In fact, it might take a little more than a day. And as you slept here during the day, Zalace woke up to a very special surprise. After a nightmare of the folk of the halflings of the Rock of Brawl, whatever that street's called. In my mind in this moment, quite embarrassing. Um, you awoke to this beholder-esque creature with like long tentacles that ended in like these little red like tendrils, and rightfully like scream, "Holy fuck!" And everybody came running to save the day, and the day was saved. That creature was killed. And that is where we pick up in the immediate aftermath of that battle, as this little passenger finds themselves slain in Zalace's very nice room. And that's where we'll pick up today, folks. So what do you do?
I would like to just make an investigation as to see whether I know what it is, if that's possible.
Absolutely. Make me a nature check to see if you've ever heard of such a creature.
Nature.
Know what this is.
14.
14. Um, you know that it's some kind of beholderkin. It's not a beholder, but it's some kind of beholder. It's not anything you've ever encountered. But clearly some kind of nightmare creature of some kind.
Okay. Does anybody have an idea of what this thing is that was in my head? Or something?
Is it visible now?
Yes, it is visible now, and it is laying on the ground very dead. I believe I sent the picture last session. I could reset it.
Yeah. What's the roll to see if I know what it is?
Nature.
Nature. Let's give this a shot. 12.
Same thing. You've not heard of this creature before, but you can piece together that it's some kind of nightmare variant of a beholder.
I mean, it's disgusting. I'll say this much. Truly a creature that should not be.
It is an abomination.
Well, we need to get out of here. So, is there any chance of getting a couple of the epoxy units to drag out my room and get cleaned up?
Give me a second. Let me just check something.
I mean, Etharrith, who with it as you were, I'm sure there might be something that's worth taking off of it. Burrowing into my head with using some sort of psychic powers, psionic powers, something.
Sorry, the sounds of the ocean are so loud I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I'll fix that. I'll fix that.
I'm trying to make out what you're saying. Like, all I hear is ocean waves and seagulls.
Sorry.
Am I here right now, or?
You're spelljamming right now, my friend. But I'll tell you what, the elephant spelljammer sort of like runs out in the commotion, and he says, "Oh, go see what's going on." He'll high five you and take over the spelljammer, and you can run over in this moment.
So yeah, I was saying maybe Etharrith, there's you can cut up and see what you can get out of it if you so wish. Must be something in there that's useful.
Truth be told, I don't know what this thing is. Only that it's maybe it's similar to a beholder, but also definitely not one.
Where'd it come from?
I don't know, it just appeared. I was sleeping, had this really shit dream that it gave me. Woke up, seen it above me. And that was it. I'm not sure where it came from. It's just appeared.
I think it just sprouted out of your head, did it? Well, let's check the ship's not. There's no, open entries or something. This thing got in here.
Your Triton, who is there? She'll say, "With all due respect, Captain, if there was an opening in the vessel, we'd probably all be dead."
That was my first thought there, but did Zalasis produce this thing?
Many things with psionic abilities can teleport. I can't, but like we saw Githyanki do it, maybe this thing could teleport from outside the ship, maybe?
It also was invisible, so it's entirely possible that we picked it up in transit and it just only chose now to strike.
Hope there's only one.
If anyone wants to make at this point, yeah, if anyone wants to make an investigation check to try and figure how this thing might have got on board, then yeah, go ahead.
It'd be something very much like to do that.
11.
16?
What was that, Zalise?
16.
16?
7.
No. Zalise, you're a pretty crafty, cunning fellow, and you know, teleportation's a very powerful skill. And this thing doesn't give you the look of like a water-based creature. You don't think it just got on board like even an hour ago and immediately attacked. Considering the horrific nightmare you had, chances are that it got on at some point when the vessel was open invisibly and waited till the crew fell asleep to strike. It probably hoped to take you off one at a time, but didn't expect you all to be such potent quarry. That would be your best estimate of what happened.
Okay, so I'll relay that to the group.
My investigation roll was a 24, by the way, but I don't feel like Ed's clear. Like, why would Ed figure this out right away? But,
All right, that's fair. Nobody needs to roll, and if you think it wouldn't make sense, then we'll just say Ed's kind of scratching his head too. A little outside of his area of expertise. If you think that makes sense.
yeah. And appreciate the roll, but I don't think Ed
Yeah.
might.
Yeah. Well, take inspiration. I appreciate you making a role play decision.
I was
What was
just
that?
realizing I was being really weird just now, but I realized I just threw away a 24. But I don't know why Ed would be like, oh yeah, psionics, monsters. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So take inspiration, get that roll back to hopefully. And Chaplain, you take inspiration too, because happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
bad.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, I didn't. I saw you
21
pick.
years old. Eh? Look at it.
Hardly aged a day from that picture, man. Hardly.
Okay, we need to get this out of my room because obviously I'm not sleeping in here.
Tidewalker will say, I'll go wrangle some crew members. And she'll walk away with her bloody trident, excuse me, walk down the hall and go find some people to help haul out this giant thing.
Like Bison doesn't have great strength, but she'll be part of the lugging crew.
Yeah, a couple of, I think about, yeah, if you help out, I think 2 other crew members come back with Tidewalker and they're like, okay, get the tentacles like through the door. Like, okay, everyone stop. Everyone just stop. Okay, tentacles first. Then you gotta pivot, and everyone's like, everyone's, and it's like moving a couch, and it's terrible. It's
Etharrith
really,
Hell to just cast prestidigitation as like the dragging it and the blood's getting everywhere. It's like, oh dear,
yeah, you're just,
gonna clean this up.
I'll just clean this up. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Ace will just jump in on that and just get cleaned up as he's going.
Yeah, jumps in the car wash.
Can you just do the room as well?
I feel like at some point Bison would probably grab the sword and be like, would it be easier to move in pieces?
They kind of, there's some eyes, almost apologetic looking eyes in the direction of Zalaise, and then some almost like shameful nods.
Not get it on my sheet.
It's a butcher shop. As you're like cutting it, the wall looks like a fucking modern art painting.
Looks
yeah.
looks like the shower scene in Scarface.
Oh,
Yeah, it does. So you cut it into like 8 blocks, which is easier to move, if a lot messier and not as held together. Like big chunks of like the internal organs are just, they're like, okay, turn it, and then it's like, oh, we lost the brain. It just like falls on the ground. And this takes a while to clean up. This takes like a good 2 hours to clean up at this point.
yeah.
Damn it, Zalaise, I'm enjoying the new ship smell.
And Tidewalker's literally there with her trident, just like forking giant chunks and like tossing it into like the water locker. Just...
Would we know if there's anything that we could use from this for whole the rest creature? Or could we have a
Probably not anymore. You can check. Well, wait. Well, then you rolled for it, or this is to see what parts. So I'll give you a different roll. Make me a nature or survival check to see what parts of this thing could be useful.
Not 2023.
Oh shit. Okay, give me. Where is my cut 'em up thing? Here it is. Okay. Haha. Okay, not 20 for a total of what?
23.
Yeah, what is with this music? Jesus, what are we in Atlantis?
Or is it me?
No.
Is it me that's a bit quiet?
Okay. Okay. 23, you said. Okay. So, there's a couple of parts. I'll give them to you anyway, despite the cutting. The first one is actually, I'm just gonna copy and paste it all because it's a lot easier. I'm gonna post them all into the Facebook chat out of my little harvesting thing. All right, here we go. It might take just half a second, but not too long. Okay. Okay. And that should be it. I also got to delete the name of this thing because nobody knows what the hell this thing is. All right, there it is. That's what you get in the Facebook chat. And that role also means you know how to extract each piece as well. So I imagine you definitely have the knives. You can literally think about it in a knife book here. So yeah, you have every means of extracting these pieces.
Oh, there you are.
Yep, may add those to your inventory. If a bit smelly, but do be aware that there are some tentacles in the saliva do expire in 2 days.
Yes.
Okay. After a 2-hour cleanup, the final chunks are tossed into the water seal there. Yeah, what's unfortunate is someone has to sit outside and like hold on to the raft and then open the outer hatch and let it all out behind. And I think at one point your person, Tidewalker, like comes inside. She's like, yeah, sharks, blood. Yeah, it's fine. No, we're good. Just dangerous to be outside right now. That's all. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Try to go to bed. And they all wander off. And she assures you it's fine. They're drawn by the blood, and there's certainly enough pieces of the creature that whatever sharks are nearby are. Well, I'll tell you I don't. There isn't really a window, but I'll give it to you anyway. Basan, you're like, oh, sharks, that's cool. You like look out and you see this like, you don't see a shark, but you do see this giant form sort of move through the black of the dark of the underwater, and sort of you don't hear a chomp, but you do hear you feel this like little turbulent wave, as if the very closing of the mob, this creature was enough to shake the ship from the back, just from the water pressure it creates. So something big out there.
Yes,
Like,
it's fine. Good work tonight. Thank you. Good work.
yep, I gotta go throw up now.
You
And
can
she walks away.
absolutely go throw up now.
She walks away. She walks into the doctor's office or whatever, the apothecary, and then you guys can all head to bed if that's the preference. Yeah, there's gonna be quite a few of you crew members who are gonna need to restart your long rest after 2 hours here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You got a lot of time to travel with. Luckily, I don't think you went through too many hours before. I mean, it was still like 3 hours you were in, so most of the crew will have to restart, but not all of the crew. So that's good stuff. We'll say, Ed, you went back to your post so that the elf could finish up his trance, and then you could because we had said that you just apparently Ed's got a very low constitution, and then every now and then he just gets really sick and just can't be the captain for a little while. So you're just coming off of that. So you're much better. And yeah. But everyone will get a long rest,
Great.
according to the dice. It is a slow waking up the next day, and some of the crew are like, I don't know, those of you who get up with the rest of the crew, they're like, oh, where is it? Like, oh, it's like, where's Tidewalker? Like, where's like,
I love how
oh,
we're saying the next day as if like a planetary week has longer.
that's true.
Like a whole month on this planet just gone by.
Yeah, you're deep enough now that the day and the night cycle's gone by, but yeah, absolutely, like a month's gone, like just sleeping here, like a week's gone by. As a note for you, Ed, because you missed it, the planetary day and night cycle here is an hour. So you get a half hour of daylight, half hour of night, and then it repeats. So days are pretty quick on this planet. But you guys are pretty deep underwater now that you're lost track of the sun.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Spelljammer physics.
When we leave here, it's gonna be like, dude, it's been like 8 months.
Yeah.
Or is it just for like in this planet?
Yeah. Thanks to the fantasy physics and not worrying about time dilation and all of that stuff, it won't matter. It won't affect, like, it's not like Interstellar where it's like every day on this planet is like 100
Okay.
years on Earth. It's not like that.
It's the other. Okay. Like
Planets spin fast.
Yeah, planets spin fast, that's all.
flying to Japan from the East Coast, you kind of lose track of time as a concept. Because when I flew there, it was all daylight for like 3 days. Then when I flew back, it was all nighttime for like 2 days. And I was
Damn.
like, but I've only been up 10 hours, and time is fake.
Yeah, I feel that. I think at least a little bit you guys are probably feeling that way where you were upstairs like the days and nights were going by like fucking this. And now you're underwater where it's like pitch black and there's no natural way to tell if it's day or night. And so yeah, you guys are probably a little chronically a little screwed up, but you're also all spelljammers, and I think everyone's very used to that. From different planets and traveling the wild space seas and all of that. But anyway, you all wake up in this still dark ship. All of your windows, for the most part, have been closed. Maybe there's like tiny slits in the windows here and there that could just be like sealed off should a combat occur. But yeah, you come out into this like kind of cold steel, dark ship that is like lit, but barely lit with bright light. And then you guys slowly find yourselves getting up. I think some of you get up a little earlier than others. Yeah, making your way in deeper and deeper into the Black Sea of Capri. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Clean my room. Please.
Yep. Hey, the goo may be gone, but the smell is not. And you take a minute to, you maybe do a little laundry today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're a little nose deaf at this point, having smoked. Who knows? Anybody else have anything that they'd like to do? Anywhere they'd like to be? Any posts they'd like to be holding?
I think I would like to make just like a general rule that once after the long rest, sometime each day, Visan goes through the crew and touches base and just chats with everyone, just trying to get to know everyone and seeing if there are any problems or,
Yeah,
or anything to celebrate. Just generally trying to make connections with people.
Absolutely.
And we have to work on training Archie.
Oh yeah, the fox is there. That's right. Yeah, the fox is there, and nothing can dampen Archie's spirits. Archie's just like a happy little guy. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the foxes in Ghost of Tsushima that are just like the most friendly little like creatures. That's him. Whenever you come over, whenever you approach him, Basan, he just like rolls onto his back and kind of like squirms around on the ground. Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit like the baby in Maleficent, where like Maleficent comes around and she's like, the baby's like, you're like, and it's like, and it like rolls around. It's very harmless. Nothing can dampen the spirits of this creature. Okay, yeah, you hang out with Archie, talk to the people. Why don't you make a, this is a thing, from. I gotta combine my salt marsh here a little bit because this is a thing. Gotta pop it open, but I think it's gonna be a charisma check just to see how you're getting on with the crew. There we are. Work with me, you son of a bitch. There we go. Give me just half a moment. Here we go. Yeah, let's go see if you can check on the morale of things. Maybe a persuasion check.
That was nice.
DC 15.
Okay,
See if
that
you
was
get
cool.
friendly with the crew.
That was a 16 on the dice. Which is fine. I don't have anything to add to it.
Great. Yeah, you go around and you talk with everybody. You kind of like let them know about what happened last night. You're like, yeah, but like, don't worry about it. And maybe you're like command like a sweep of the ship just to be careful, and everyone feels good about that you like give that command, and like it's like, okay, like, looking out, it's good looking out. And they go look around. I will say, as the crew that doesn't have anything else to do today, like sweep dude does like a well, you don't know how thorough a sweep, but there's a lot of people looking around. You guys feel pretty confident you don't have any more unexpected passengers at this point, and that makes them feel comfortable and thus comfortable with you. And your crowd, the morale will just move in the right direction a little bit. Yeah, good job, Hassan. Doing your shiply duties. Is there anybody else?
That breastplate I was cooking up last session. Could I chip away at that? I think it was like 20 something days or something for me to finish it. I bought the
what? Yeah, you got the supplies. What did you bring your tool? Yeah, you obviously brought your tools. Yeah, go ahead and start chipping away at that. Put 8 hours into that. And then you're gonna have to spend 8 hours on the Spelljammer helm because your guy will have to sleep at some point. Yep, cool, fantastic. I think Tidewalker would say to the captain or to Basan at some point that we'll have to wait till we get to port before she can because there was some conversation about making the upper area sort of like a kind of like a hangout hall, just to make sure that like crew members are closer to the siege weaponry should the worst come to pass. She says that I don't know, it'll need to be organized because you guys don't have like extra furniture laying around, so that can easily be organized. But you guys will need to get to you'll need to get
next stop.
you'll need to make a pit stop somewhere to do that.
Above the
Yes.
table, that
Yep.
space, it seems like it's the entire third floor of the ship. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So it's a large enough space that it could be hangout space, workshop, just one on one side of the room, one on the other side of the room. Like it's
Yeah.
accurate. Like it seemed like it was a pretty big area.
Yeah. If you could see it now, like that's the area right there. It is a decent sized area. You could always like, I mean, that is a point. Like you guys could make that like a as silly as it may sound, you guys can make it like a crafts kind of thing. Um where yeah, you leave like some of your tools around. It gives the crew like a chance to like dick around with the tools and maybe be creative and whatever, and probably be good for morale to have the crew doing like productive like craftsman stuff rather than just like sitting around playing cards or drinking or whatever,
Yeah.
doing something productive. Could be an option.
Talk to
Could
the
be an option.
captain about that.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Tidewalker will be outside the. Yeah, everybody's doing their due diligence around here. I think Chaplain. Yeah, I think you guys are on shifts like Chaplain and Tidewalker, and some of the Pox units are just like on shift with one another, keeping an eye out.
Yep.
Cool. So very cool. Yeah. At any given time, there's 3 Poxy units outside the ship, and they're just cycling. Okay, and then Tidewalker or you will be out there for the like swapping, I suppose.
Yeah.
Giving the other a break. Okay, you descend. You descend deeper into the water. I'm gonna say at some point, Ed, you take over for the Spelljammer helm. And yeah, as you take over, there is going to be something strange is going to happen, my friend. Something very strange. Basically, you realized what the how the sort of main cockpit works. Actually, it would be an Etharrith and Ed sort of thing. So
Okay.
Ed, or Etharrith, you're on the bridge, of course. You got the best visual look outside of the thing, and you also have your orrery. So there's that. Ed, you don't need to have actual visual range because you can arcane eye around the ship, so you don't need that. And you're tucked away where all Spelljammers should be for defensive measures. And both of you are going to realize something in your own different ways. Um, Ed, it's going to be sensational for you. It's going to be like that because when you're on a Spelljammer helmet, you get a feeling of like pins and needles without the discomfort, like a slight numbness. And you feel like a bit of almost like a weird pulling feeling, like almost gravitationally. And Etharrith, I would like you to make me either an investigation or survival check on the orrery for today to see if you pick this up as well.
Investigation it is. And we're having a bad day again. That's a 7.
A 7. Maybe you're not like looking locally right now. Maybe you're trying to like do like a deeper scan to try and like see how far you guys are. So you don't really pick this up in this moment. But Etharrith, or excuse me, Ed, you feel this weird like it's nothing tremendously powerful, but you feel this this like I said, it's almost like this. It's more of a feeling than an actual like it's actually happening. You feel this like pull, like this current almost in your body. And it's like not directly in the direction you're going. It's kind of like a little off center. You've never experienced that before.
I'm gonna kind of, I guess by instinct, um, not recoil like out in a defensive way, but kind of like, um, let it keep pulling me, but turn my direction to the opposite way. So it's kind of one of those parallel pullings as opposed to like, because I don't want it to know that I know that it's on me, or
So
I kind of want
you're so if
to
it's coming from this direction, you want to kind of like point the ship like that.
yeah. That way, if it pulls me, we're both going like in a Y.
Oh,
You
got
know,
it.
opposed to
Um,
like recoiling and letting it know like, oh shit, I know that you're there.
got it. At this point, Etharrith, you're aware something's going on as Ed changes course.
I
Captain, you've
got
adjusted
the
course.
yeah, I'm feeling a sort of pull in this way, so I'm gonna keep riding that away here. Um, you think you could get a little bit extra focus in this area? And I'm gonna point out where I'm feeling
A,
the pull.
a pull. I mean, should I roll again to see if I can?
Yep, roll again, this time with
Any-
advantage because you're being actively pointed in that direction.
That is 19.
19. You pull back, and um, you've been detecting some larger life forms at this depth, far away. Nothing to worry about. Um, but yeah, you've been detecting larger life forms of similar, slightly lesser, similar size to your ship here and there. But again, very far off, never on your course, nothing to worry about. You've like marked those off, and as you sort of pull back, you realize that there is this strange marker on the orrery that is, yeah, like it's not right on your course, but half um maybe like half a mile to quarter mile ahead, uh off center to the left. There is this like anomaly. There's this strange water-based anomaly, and it looks almost like it's difficult to it would take a little bit of analysis to try and start to figure out what it is, but it is some kind of it's some kind of gravitational some kind of like wild space astral sea based anomaly.
Is it moving?
It is not moving. It seems to be stationary.
On a
Hmm.
portal wormhole.
But it is worth pointing out, it has features of certain anomaly. Like, you've never seen anything like this, but it does have qualities similar to what you've seen in the astral space or wild space. But you're not in either of those right now. You're under the water. You're deep, deep under the water. You're not in wild space
Yeah.
right now.
I wonder if is there any way for me to ascertain if this is something that's naturally occurring or something that someone made that would help a lot.
You don't know.
Uh, it kind of stares at the orrery for a second.
Anomaly detected.
Yeah, and then crossroads, crossroads. Captain, try to maintain distance on this thing for now, and I will return shortly. I'm taking a bit of a gamble here. I'm going to use a robe of the stars to go to the astral sea.
Yeah, Ed, for the first time ever, you see Etharrith say, yeah, keep away from it. I'm going to do a little something risky. I'll be back with you in a minute. And he puts his hood up, and the robe sort of just like curls around him, and he's sort of like a star falling in on itself, like implosion, basically, just kind of disapparates and sort of like falls in on himself and vanishes into space. Like he was like
That'll be
he
like, I just want to spies, but
Meanwhile, oh man, fun. Where are you going?
I mean, I don't think I get to pick where. All I know is that I end up in the astral plane.
You
As
can
for,
you can hope you get somewhere.
I mean, I'm trying to see if there's any chance in hell I find Hecate, but I know that like the odds are extremely slim, but also I'm faced with like I'm at a crossroads right now, and I am not sure whether to risk, testing this gravitational anomaly or trying to escape it. So I feel like if there was ever a time to pray for like a divine consultation, this is it.
Oh, roll me d4.
Oh boy. 3.
Okay. You like Doctor Strange ask your cloak sort of like billows open as you are sucked into the astral sea. It has been I don't think you've ever truly like you've been in wild space before, but I don't think you've ever actually been in the astral sea before. You appear out here in the deep, deep astral, in this most mysterious and strangest of places. Um, you don't see Hecate anywhere, but you do see the cosmic winds and lights, the pinks and purples and the stars of a thousand wild space systems as you sort of float adrift. Um, no sign of your god immediately there, but I wanna check some. Let's put you right up at the camp. There you go. Hey, I went to the Astral Sea and all I got was this stupid T-shirt.
Look at me.
Look at me. Hey, mom. Okay. Um, let's see. Robe of shooting stuff. Robe of stuff. Right. So you wear the robe, you right there until you're actually trying to play your last space you occupied. Uh, it just says you enter the astral plane. Man, I'd love it if you could choose.
You're the DM. You can choose. You can decide if I can choose or not.
Yeah, you're right. I am the DM. I can decide. The problem is if I say that you can, I might be boning myself horribly in the future. I gotta be very careful about
Probably.
what I do. Um, I'll say in this moment, it's too cool to not let it happen. It's fine. We're gonna roll cool this. We're gonna let it happen. You sort of appear out here, floating in the astral sea. Um, Here and there you are, uh, seeing the beauty of the astral void, uncertain of what's before of what's before you. In this moment, as you reach out to your god and hope that she is there to be found or you have come upon her, what would you like speak to the astral sea? What would you think or say?
Um, I think there would be almost a kind of feeling of if I guess it's almost like a kind of almost testing of my own kind of like faith in Hecate or like my understanding of like my own kind of faith that if I'm following the Like, if I'm following the path that she's divined and wants me to be on, she should be here if I'm on the right track.
Okay. Very interesting.
Almost like a test of I hope I'm right.
Okay. I'll say from the black of the astral, the pinks and purples comes to you a form of something grand and magnificent, as if once your shall we call him your father at one point, uh, described to you a similar encounter where simply adrift you were or he was, um, and suddenly came upon him this strange woman, uh, magnificently large in stature and uh, bearing uh, many strange objects, keys, daggers, torches. There was three of her, and she wore a strange crown, beautiful skin white as the moon, but robes and hair as black as night. The goddess of witches comes to you, Etharrith, the goddess of crossroads. And a smile curls across her face. She says, "How lovely to finally meet you at last, my son."
I mean, I just fall to my knees and like bow. It is a great honor to finally, John, a great honor to finally be in your presence, your, my divine lady.
Hmm. Well, you have chosen stranger paths, and you've held to the faith. I wonder. Never mind. I have watched you there, Etharrith, with some interest. I have placed things here and there before you, always excited to see how you react. How are you, my child? My son, he who's born of magic of me.
Apprehensive.
Hmm. What up?
As you no doubt foresaw, I have come to a crossroads. We seek we seek a wizard deep under the sea of this planet. And we've encountered something strange,
Hmm.
some gravitational anomaly that I can't identify.
Hmm.
It could lead us to what we seek or destroy us. Such decisions can be a matter of life and death, and death will be swift.
Hmm.
I seek your guidance, my lady.
No, not all of these crossroads I put before you, my child, are crossroads that are of perilous import. Sometimes I like to see just what you'll do. If you'll have fun, let yourself have fun. Where your interests lie. Not all crossroads need be so severe as, say, some silly sorcerer summoning demons and destroying the land.
I after kind of smile. I that was a rather liberal presentation of your greatness, my lady.
Hmm. I am honored that you have such high standards for my presentation.
Of course. There
Ah,
are many out there who fear you, mark you as a bringer of death and destruction. There's maybe some modicum of truth to that, but for me, you are a divine symbol of progress, for, of forward movement. You are the antithesis of stagnation. You bring change. You force things to change. And for me, that message is everything. If ever I feel that I am going to sit still or be unable to take a step forward, I hold on to my faith in you, so that every decision can and will be made.
she leans forward, leaving two of the pairs of arms behind as if there is some other two women sort of like standing behind her that you can't quite see other than their arms bearing the various strange symbols. And she kind of like almost hands them off so her hands are free, kind of leans in really close and like literally does like this on like the stone that you're standing on like right before you, and you're like here in front of her. And she goes, "Oh, so full of magic and potential. I'm so excited to see which ways you'll go, Etharrith."
I think I know what path I wish to take, my lady.
And what path is that?
Fun, progress, potential. This is no doubt a risk, but to ignore this anomaly or avoid it would be. I look up. I kind of look up to her, and it's probably the first time I actually dared look her in the face. To avoid it would be boring, would it not?
I'm inclined to agree. The antithesis of change. I'll have to start getting people to spread that around. I like that. Yes. Yes. Oh, I have placed so many little goodies in front of you, Etharrith. I hope you find them all. Well,
To know that your eyes are on me is a great gift enough. Though I won't turn down an opportunity to attain greater power, as is your doctrine.
indeed. And so right you are. I don't bring destruction. Nothing so crass. I bring temptation for greater powers. What people do with those powers is up to them. That is their crossroad to walk. Sometimes you just need a spark to see which way they walk. And that's the fun. Now, you be a good boy, and you go back to your little ship, and you go have such good fun with all your friends. And this wizard, have your fun with him, and keep your eyes open when you look through his books. Maybe you'll find something you like.
Thank you for your wisdom, my lady. And with like a very, very low bow, I'll activate the River Stars to return to the material plane.
Absolutely. She says, "Goodbye, my son." And you, the robe sucks you up and sends you back to your anchor point, to where you're now drowning. You
Yep.
teleport above the ship. As we spoke about, you teleport back onto the ship, leaving Hecate behind. I like the idea that you have just like a now you have like a proper connection, like a one-to-one connection with Hecate. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. These are my friends, mom. Uh, but yeah, so so he's not gone too long, Ed, maybe like 5, 10 minutes. But is there anything that you would do while Etharrith just sort of vanishes into thin air?
I think Ed would steer the course, just making sure that weird anomaly doesn't pull him out. And purposely, he's doing so in a way to try and not alert anyone. Like, if only him and Etharith know this happened just now, until it's time to alert everyone. Like, he's trying to keep it chill until Etharith comes back. So, anybody that's used to Ed's sort of piloting, they're not getting wind that it feels like, oh shit, danger's afoot.
Make
Very.
me, yeah. Are you proficient with stealth?
I am not, no, I'm not proficient.
Okay, I want you, and you're an intelligence caster. I want you to roll me an intelligence check, and since you're proficient with space vehicles, I'll give you advantage. So, an intelligence check at advantage. This is like a modified stealth and intelligence vehicle check thing.
And I'm trying to keep these thematic because I feel the same way you do about it. But I am going to use my flash of genius because, like, piloting's my thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Trying to keep those fitting. All right, let's see what happens. All right, that's a 17 plus 4 plus 4 more. So 21, 25.
17 plus 4 plus 4 more?
Yeah, because my intelligence is plus 4. And you said it was an intelligence check, right?
Yeah.
And then plus 4 for Flash of Genius.
Oh, right. Flash of Genius. Okay, yeah. So I doubt anyone is going to be. If anyone has a passive investigation or perception above 25 or 25 or above, then you might be able to find out. But but Ed very skillfully, very smoothly, without anybody's knowledge. I'd say the only people who could possibly be knowledgeable about any sort of shifting or anyone outside the ship. And for the sake of this check, I'm going to say Tidewalker's outside the ship right now. And she's not going to like run inside and berate you. You're the captain. She's the sailor. So the Poxy units in Tidewalker would notice just because of the change of current. But you're the captain. They're not going to. But anyone inside the ship will be none the wiser. And moments later, reincorporating, as if appearing like sort of, when they disapparate in Harry Potter, they kind of fold on themselves. That's what I imagine it's like. And Etharrith sort of unfolds just like a long, slender shape of stars and astral power, and then it sort of unfurls into a robe, and Etharrith is there.
Etharrith appears and for a second is just like clutching his chest a little bit and has just a crazed look in their eye and just glares at Ed. Run the pull down. Charge it.
All right. Ed'll charge it.
You're like, all right. At this point, I think everyone very much feels the lurching of the ship as it sort of. So for Tidewalkers, like, oh, it's weird, we're changing course. And then like 2 minutes later, it's like, it's just as the ship just turns, and so all of you are very much aware that the ship like turns very intensely, and nobody's thrown across, nothing like that, but. You guys definitely feel the turning of the ship, and moving very much with pointed attention at something. So you guys are ramming whatever this thing is?
Yes. Is there a way, I guess I definitely can't see, I Shit, I did tell Tidewalker there was an emergency to like move towards like the glass so I can see them. So I guess I'll just pray that they remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do like stations and alert people now. But you should probably let the others know. At least the son.
Uh, I guess just hammer on the glass because that's all I can do.
Okay. Yeah, you ding ding ding, and they'll hear that, and Tidewalker will sort of poke her head down from the top and look at you guys, sort of Spider-Man style, from up above.
I will
Uh,
immediately cast Vortex Warp on Tidewalker to bring them in.
she's like, holy shit! She's like stopping wet. She's like, what was? Uh, oh, Captain. What can I do for you? Sorry, I've never done that before.
Yeah. I think it's Etharrith here that has a call for you, but looks like we got something live we're about to engage with. And since you're our main guide here.
Oh,
We're about to possibly hit something, and I would hate for you to get crushed hurt in the initial collision.
oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Should we put the Ploxy units inside or?
Yeah,
They can.
we can bring him in. Sorry to cut you off there, Etharrith, but I'm not ramming our ship. We just got this thing. I'm gonna get in, get eyes and get
Course.
position.
Sorry,
I think you need to,
I
like,
got excited.
yeah, you got a little bit of bloodlust in you. It takes a couple deep breaths. Let's settle it down there, Etharrith. But get the others and let's get in station. We don't know what we're about to see.
Okay. Okay. I'll go alert the crew. And she'll run off. Ting 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 ting. You hear her running across the ship, and she'll come up to that the second thing, and you guys will be like, "Time Walker, I thought you were outside the ship." And she's gonna be like, "Okay, we're coming up on something. The captain said everybody to be on alert. Get everybody in from outside. Begin boarding." And one by one, the POX units will start making their way in, sort of open the door, go inside, flush the water out, open the door, go inside, close the door. So it takes a minute or two, but there's surely enough time. And everyone probably runs to, honestly, probably the bridge, because that's where the only large windows would be, is where you're standing, Etharrith. So they don't crowd you specifically, Etharrith, but they're probably all like, I imagine everyone's like gathered right here, including Chaplain Bassan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
For
And
sure.
you're like looking out to see what the hell it is. You definitely feel as you approach this feeling getting stronger at this pole. You guys see, you can actively see this like almost like it's difficult to describe. You almost can see the water current outside the glass of the ship sort of churning. And indeed, at this point, Ed, you feel like the ship, like if you were to let it just go, like if you were just to go neutral, the ship would start spinning whirlpool style, very slowly. It's not a great hazard, but something's out there, and you feel it. This pull in the tide at this point is definitely like a pull in the tide. Um, at this point, maybe you stop the ship. You're like starting to get into some kind of external environmental situation. It's black. It's pitch black out there, but there's something going on out there. What do you do, if anything?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Can I get close enough to Ed so that when it looks like he's going to take like an active control, like to try to do something specific, that I could be ready to cast guidance?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Can I sneak past everybody and get as close to, well, right up onto the glass and see what I can see anything? I've got 60 foot of dark vision. Does that help?
Yeah, you press your face to the
Oh.
glass and try and look. Um, there's going to be a certain point where that will reach, but it's not, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's not 60 feet in front of you, unfortunately.
Okay. I'll just stay there and keep my perception out.
Understood, understood.
I don't know if
Anybody
I, I
else?
don't know if I want to get too close. Uh, I'm gonna look at Etharrith. You're positive we want to go in there?
I have faith that this is the right course. And if it's not, well, if it's magical, I can dispel it.
All right. I'm gonna. This is gonna be a little fun. Yeah. Sun here.
I was just asking or trying to find out where I was.
You're there if you want to be.
I would
I
like to be,
imagine I
please.
imagine the part I imagine like the crew is all there wanting to see what's gonna happen. Poxy units upstairs just in case that they siege weaponry is needed. But everybody else is like there to see what's going on. But you guys are like officers, so I imagine you're at the front.
Is this is a cantrip, so I can keep casting it as we get closer, I suppose. Is there a specific skill that Ed uses most often for navigating or for piloting the ship?
It would be
I understand that circumstances can change that, but is there a general one that he uses most often?
I had previously made it like a water, like a specifically a water vehicle check for piloting. So it's I'd say just like a general intelligence check
Okay.
with the bonus from the skill proficiency or the tool proficiency.
Okay. Whatever I guess that needs to be. Can I just
Yeah,
try to keep guidance on that to give him an extra D4 while he's trying to navigate this?
yeah. We'll say that you're like you're beside Chapin, like narcolytical, narcolytical, narcolytical. Chaplin's in the. I think some of the crew's like, what's going on? Chaplin's in the corner, literally like, no, like praying nonstop for a little guide us through this situation.
Pray
Um,
without ceasing.
yeah, pray without ceasing. In this moment, Ed, the sort of swirling feeling around the ship as you're all there trying to figure out what can you see, what you're gonna do. You feel it begin to significantly intensify to the point where you're actually like kind of like you guys see Ed like kind of instinctively like kind of moving his head a little here and there, maybe like whatever, as you're trying to like force the ship against the tide. And at a certain point, um, it becomes beyond your ability to say like it's not a big deal, and you guys find yourselves sort of being the ship being pulled in as you guys find yourselves caught in a category 3 whirlpool. And the thing is, warning, warning, whirlpool. And the crew's like, ah, they'll start running around. Okay, we're gonna go to a skill challenge as you guys have gotten close, and it seems that we're being pulled in. And let's go to it. Let's go to it. Let's see if you guys can. Well, my question is, Captain or whoever, do you guys try and resist the whirlpool? Do you give the order to
No,
resist?
I'm gonna let it pull us, but like it's one of those things where my focus is I'm gonna let it in until all of our guys that have senses could get close enough, and if anyone alerts me that is dangerous, I'm putting my entire life into like an evade. I like it's more like it's kind of like when you're hydroplaning, where like the best thing to do is the opposite of what your body always tells you to do. So I
Okay,
think
I
that's
gotcha.
well, it's kind of like the drifting.
Okay, fair enough. I will put forth, Captain, and you would know this as a pilot. You would know this. If you resist, or if you don't resist and give it control, and you let yourself be pulled deeper into the whirlpool, it makes it harder the closer you get to pull back out.
Yeah, like I definitely have a threshold I'm willing to get, and it's really just like I like whatever I know would be like, here's the last time where you have some control. I'm giving it to that, and that's where I'm gonna like. If no one senses anything important, then I'm gonna try to evade out because like this could just be
All
a
right.
massive.
Could be. All right, you sort of like lose control, allow yourself to be pulled in. The crew is watching, watching, watching. You are indeed pulled forth until you see um just sort of a little bit of light here in the deep, dark depths of. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was like one of those like things with a little light, and then it like, and you're like suddenly like, "Ah," and it's like no, but that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. That would be really. I'm kind of mad at myself. I didn't do that. That would have been really, that would have been super cool.
Or one of the ones with it on its tongue.
Yeah, or like the back of its throat. It's just
Yeah.
got like a little light at the back, and then suddenly just. That'd be cool. But that is not what's happening in this moment. In fact, it's something a little more interesting. You see this little bit of light. Anyone can make a perception check if they wish, not including Ed. Ed, you're a little focused on doing a controlled descent, I'd say, in this point.
Yeah.
Just realized I have guidance. I can cast guidance on myself. What the hell?
Tidewalker's like up against the glass. She's like almost like, she seems to be almost like in a trance.
21 perception.
7.
Nice. 21.
18.
18.
6.
6.
Apparently, I can't roll today, guys.
Me neither.
I haven't rolled anything.
Basan's just really into making sure everyone's happy on the crew today. Well, everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? And Basan's like, I'm so happy we're having this experience together. And they're like, you're right, Basan. And he's like really busy being camp counselor. But Chaplain and Chaplain and Zalace are gnome and halfling, have your faces stuck up against the glass. You look in, and you look into this like light, and it's not like the sun or anything like that, but it is this frosty blue color, and it does remind you of like if you were at like a great depth and you looked up and could see like the light appearing. It makes you almost in this moment be like, wait a second, did we like turn around at some point? Are we like pointed at the sky right now? Is that the sun?
So it gives
yeah.
it gives the impression of natural light versus like arcane light, right? Okay.
Yeah, it gives the impression of, it's definitely that like celestial white light of the sun a little bit. But one of you rolled above a 20, right?
Zalace.
Zalace, you kind of like look between the light and this like whatever, and you realize that there is this the reason it's circular isn't because of the structure of the light. It's not because you're looking at the sun. It's because there is this circular shape, and the light is like on the other side of the circular shape, like it's some kind of portal or gate or doorway of some kind.
Stargate. Happy days.
And maybe just maybe see this whale-like figure move between the light, like looking into the sun, seeing a bird kind of fly across it. Very hard to perceive, but you see this almost fish-like figure move between the gate and the light, just sort of like almost move past.
Okay, I'll relay that back to the captain and Etharrith. And just say, well, looks like it leads back out to the astral sea, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But it's definitely a portal.
We make for the light. Captain?
I hear you. And Ed's gonna try and like ride the current to find the point to kind of like shake and bake off of the current into
Nice. Absolutely. Etharrith, while you're on the orrery, you're doing like the Tony Stark thing. Make me an Arcana check.
Got
as
it.
you're trying to identify the anomaly. And now that you're closer, it might be working a little better.
18.
18. At this, it's the thing's flashing like anomaly, 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 and you're like pulling in and looking. And it's like warning, whirlpool warning, warning. And you like pull in. You're like enhance, enhance, and you're like, and you get in there. And then you sort of detect what it is. And it says, and it's sort of like anomaly identified, planar portal, planar portal. Um,
Oh,
uh,
shit.
and in this moment, that circle's getting wider and wider and wider. You try and pull back, Ed. Do you think you're at the point of no return here?
Oh no, I'm going for it. I'm going in there.
At
And
this point, we pull back to see this very dimly lit circle, vortexing circle as like water is traveling in and out in sort of a strange sort of in and out at the same time kind of current. And we see this massive turtle ship sort of like disappear and vanish into it. Uh, oh, very excited about this, guys. Suddenly you're like trying to go in, and then suddenly you sort of are pulled in, and then you feel this like little speed boost as the ship lurches forward, and then you just kind of neutrally move forward, and everything just sort of stabilizes. And guys, you are somewhere quite beautiful, if a little strange. Trying to find the right music for where. Let's do this one. Yeah, that's fitting. That's fitting. As I pull out here, you guys are going to be. Come on. As you're making your way away, I'm going to send you guys a picture of the initial site that you see. You find yourselves, you're still very much underwater, but it is beautiful. It is like an aquatic wonderland, the likes of which you have never seen before. It is gorgeous with massive, long, colorful gold, warm and purplish and blue coral reefs that move in like long tendrils up in front of you. There might even be like what look to be like underwater buildings of some kind off in the distance. You see giant schools of fish and seaweed. You see large whales sort of moving in pods in front of you. I'm going to send a picture to Spelljammer chat of what it is you're seeing.
Ooh.
Uh, what do you guys do? Is there anything to be done, to be said? You do see, by the way, that there. Well, actually, I'll say Etharrith is your orrery like literally just like shuts down as you move through. The orrery just like turns off without your ability, like without you telling it to. It just, and then like a second later, once you move through the portal, it reopens again, but it's entirely different. The only thing that is the same is that the planar portal anomaly is behind the ship now, but the entire map has changed. Everything has changed, and you sort of have to like restart, like going through things and figuring things out. But you've entered a new area.
Well,
Sorry, Karen.
I don't think we're on Capri anymore.
They're not in Kansas.
Did we mean to come here?
I just look at Etharrith.
It would be awfully inconvenient if this turned out to be a complete deviation from the mission, but I mean, and like looks out the glass.
Yeah,
I
everybody's looking
think
at the glass. Tidewalker is like he's got stars in her eyes, and but everyone's like, hey, there's no denying the undersea wonder, and the crew is a little bedazzled by the sight in this moment.
are we able to get back?
The portal there is a return portal behind us, but
Okay.
does we
Just
anything
checking.
look like a wizard's sanctum?
Well,
There, make me are you using the orrery or are you using what are you doing?
I guess I'm gonna like look between the orrery and the just through the glass. I don't know which. Try to see if I can get a bit whichever one will give me a better view. What the hell's going on?
Uh, why don't we start with a perception check for anyone who wants to like look around outside, just like a standard perception check to look out and see if there's anything of note.
18 for me.
9. Oh God.
All right, you look around, trying to see, um, 19. I heard somewhere in there.
No.
18.
18. You guys are like looking around and like it's beautiful, and you do see a certain shapes way off in the like in the image I sent you guys, like you can see these like towers here. Those are much further in the distance. But there is some kind of like sign of civilization somewhere there. It is worth noting that like, in this image that I sent you guys, like it would look to be like if you looked down, you could see the ocean floor. But they're more like large coral and stone columns that sort of like sprout up from the ground, but seem to go down forever. And just as you look down to see like the base of the ocean, it's like these columns just come out of an infinite depth of water where it grows black the deeper you go. And as you look up, it's like you see like almost like these massive coral stalactites, and there is like a light that pervades the area, but it's sourceless. It's like it's coming from neither up or down. It's just kind of like it's just kind of there, and you don't really know where the light is coming from per se. But you clearly seem to be in some kind of like maybe a cavern, maybe you're out in open water, but whatever it is, it's big is where you are. And there are shapes off in the distance. But what is worth noting, that's the least you see, is your ship is indeed being approached by some rather strange shapes, my friend. You are going to see. What do they look like? You see these like really sort of swimming towards you guys, or more like being propelled by the water itself. You see like dressed lavishly in silks and whatnot, these really heavy set men and women that are decorated to the nines. Some of them have like, as they grow closer, long like fishy lips. Others have more human-looking faces, but all of their skins are like uh, blues or like deep oranges, very coral-esque colors. But again, they're all very heavy set, but wearing just gaudy amounts of jewels, and bracelets, and rings, and they have these cultural like markings across their face, and their hair is done, and there's jewels all through their hair. And four of these individuals begin to are like being propelled seemingly by the water itself towards your ship.
Okay, rich fish looking people coming towards us.
All right. Well, we've been dealing with, the upper class
Fast.
recently, so
Really
what?
fast.
All right. Let's get me and Etharrith up there. Son, you can join us too. And Cap,
Um,
let's crew be at the ready for anything. But let's
Should I take the
let's
should I
see.
take the epoxy units back outside?
No. Let's try and be the word diplomatic about this one. Let's not present war, but you guys are going to be down here. If you have anything ready, you can have the epoxy units nearby. Keep them down at the ready, but let's go say hello.
All right, so I will go gather the AP units and have them, I guess, ready and waiting up on the third deck.
Got it. Yep, they will wait. It is, yeah, they'll hang around out there. Cool. So who's going out? It's just gonna be Ed and who?
After you can join us, and what's the name? I'm sorry, you're the newer crew member. You seem a little very excited by everything. He's talking to the
Skywalker.
Tidewalker.
Skywalker. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sure. And excitedly, I'd like you to go get my trident. And she'll run and grab her trident, and yeah, you three can make your way out. Yeah, and we'll see where this thing goes. Why did I do that? That's... Okay. Let's see. So Tidewalker. We got Ed Jord. We got Etharrith. So you guys approach. You step out together.
I realize I'm currently super not. I'm gonna use Alter Self just so I can have an aquatic adaptation.
Got it. Ed, how do you intend to breathe water?
I'm gonna put on the little fish suit.
Okay, you go and you
Oh wait, yeah, no,
get into.
Bisan can't breathe in water, so she's not gonna go.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
That part. Even though it's quite literally all around us, mermaid people were around there for a brief second. Forgot we're surrounded. We're in water.
Yep. So Etharrith, you sort of use your magic to form gills on your neck and web your hands and feet.
I like the idea that like his body changes from like being like rough, bony, Lunar Dragon scaly to like a salamander, just kind of like weirdly amphibious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are some dragons that have swim speeds, for example, like black dragons. I know, for example, have swim speeds. So yeah, much more amphibious, maybe crocodile-like almost in some ways. And Ed, you get into this fish suit, and you guys all, it takes a minute, but you all step out. Luckily enough, these people who are swimming towards you seem accommodating enough to wait. I got a big question for you folks. Do any of you speak Primordial?
No.
Well, good news is you have brought a translator outside, wittingly or not. These four individuals, 2 men, 2 women, or male or female, I really should say, sort of approach, again, very, very heavy set, very gaudy, very fish looking, sort of approach your ship. Let me get out my translator here. Okay. They start speaking. One of the men sort of swim forward, and starts speaking you. And we'll say, very like very flowy, watery, tidy language, not a very, very flowing, not very harsh, but also kind of very weird. And Tidewalker will say, it welcomes us to the plane of water. It continues to talk, and it's going like, and she'll speak back and she'll say, they'll like sort of communicate with one another. She says, they acknowledge that I will be acting as translator for you. I introduced our ship, the Prophet's Demise, and they welcome us to the realm of Amwaj Idinjari, the great Padisa of the Merid. I don't know what a lot of those words mean.
Tell them I'm Captain at Jord. This is my this is Etharrith, and we're here on a specific task. We got no problem, and if they know anything about this wizard friend of ours we're hunting, that'd be most appreciated. And if they don't feel like giving the information without us, doing something in return, we offer our trade for them, which is kind of a miscellaneous bag. We've done it all.
Might be jumping the gun a bit there, Captain.
Trying to seem friendly. They kind of have the upper hand.
She'll begin to communicate that. And the main speaker will sort of begin to communicate. And she says, your tribute is received well, and they know of many wizards and casters of magic here and there. They believe that the Mother of Foam would be most enticed by guests from the prime material plane and invites you to the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls to meet with the great Padishah, since you are now in her territories.
I don't think this is an offer we can refuse, Captain.
We'll happily accept that invitation and just point us in the right direction.
The main one sort of smiles almost gluttonously and says, then please, and and then continues to speak, and eventually she says, okay, they will guide us to the palace. Okay. And she'll communicate with them like we need a minute to get everything ready, and they will very kindly, good hosts they be, and sort of bow and give you a minute to do this. Cool, guys. Okay, so Etharrith and Ed and Tidewalker will enter back into the ship, and Tidewalker says, "Should I remain outside the ship to communicate, or I don't know. I'll do whatever you think I should do."
Just keep things friendly. We're playing ball here, so.
I can remain outside as well, if needed. If they're guiding us, then my duty is moot.
Yeah, that's a good call. All right, I'll go down, form the others, and let's keep things focused here. We don't know if we're in friendly or enemy territory yet.
Okay. You make your way into the ship. The crew sort of like turns, like watch the whole interaction through the glass, and now turns around to like look at you, Ed, and and I'm sure Chaplain and Zalace and Basan and the rest of the crew look at you as you like pull off your fish suit helmet, and they await your word.
We're having seafood tonight, folks. Not the people in front of you, but we've been given a royal invitation, and seeing as we're not really in familiar territory, we felt the need to accept it. So put on your best and let's stay focused here. And make a good impression, shall we?
Yay!
So, for the transition while we're traveling, I'll throw up whispers between Tidewalker, Etharrith, myself, and the captain, just so that there's a link so that everybody can hear what's being said or from outside as well.
Okay. All right. Okay, you guys, the ship begins to lurch forward. You're going to see that these as Merid, as they have called themselves, sort of like two of them towards the front, where Etharrith and Tidewalker are, and the other two kind of make their way sort of left and right of the cockpit, and they just kind of like guide you in this way, and the ship starts following them. They start moving rather quickly at first and then kind of fall back as they seem to be able to swim quite a bit quicker than you guys are able to. Your ship is able to move, so they kind of keep pace with your ship and begin to guide you deeper into the watery realm and further away from the watery portal that you came through. Very exciting.
You're far too
Is there,
excited
is
about this, to be fair.
That's okay. And yes, this is a very cool direction. Random encounters, they do fun things. Would there, you guys are going to be doing this for not too long, but maybe a couple of minutes, maybe like 20 minutes to a half an hour. You'll just be following these married creatures. Does anybody wish to do anything?
I don't know if the Marriott is still talking, if they're just kind of like, if they're just silently, leading us. But is there? I want to get a sense of like, I was like, I want to roll insight on them and just kind of like get a sense of if this is. I'm suspicious of someone being too friendly to people who just turned up on your doorstep.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me an insight check. And as just so you know, they're being very friendly. Like I said, it is not hard for them to keep up with your ship. They're like, they're not very attractive creatures, but they do move almost mermaid-like, where they kind of like swim forward and move, and then they kind of like turn around and look at you and smile graciously as they like swim backwards, then kind of turn back around. They're trying to be very open and friendly. What would you roll?
22.
You know well enough that there is a bit of a they are being friendly. You don't think you're being lured into like a trap specifically, but yeah, you guys all just met each other and there is distrust. You don't you don't think that they're being ingenuine. You don't think that they're lying about where they're leading you.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, you understand their persuasion is true. However, there is indeed that underlying layer of, we don't know who you are. You just showed up in our territory. We're going to bring you before our leader, and we're going to see what they want to do with you, basically. So there is this unspoken sort of uncertainty. Yes, Chaplain.
Chaplain has proficiency with cartographer's tools and navigator's tools. I understand that there's not a lot of natural landmarks around here, but you said there were like spires and stuff like that. Can he try to, for lack of a better term, kind of map maybe in relation to the things that they can see, kind of the direction that they're heading, so he can track back toward the direction of the portal if they need to be able to do that?
Absolutely. And I would say that there are actually a lot of naturally formed landmarks. There's no buildings or whatever, but like it's beautiful. And there are like, oh yeah, like there's this spire of like coral shelves over here, and then there's this like underwater like seashell tree over there. So there are some hard and fast natural landmarks that you can absolutely start working on. Go ahead and make me. What check would make sense for me? Actually, the new I need to start using the new book more because I think it has very good tool rules in it, actually. So I'm going to go take a quick look to find the right check.
Can I assist him or aid him in this?
Are you proficient in cartographer's tools?
No, but my perception of things is okay.
It's true. It's true. I'll tell you what, Chaplain, make me, let's call it a, yeah, well, he's already going to have advantage because he's proficient with it himself. But we will say that narratively, you're standing there like helping, pointing out things and being a good assistant. But Chaplain, go ahead and roll me a perception or survival check at advantage because you are proficient with cartographer's tools. Do you have cartographer's tools?
Yes, I have both cartographer's tools and navigator's tools.
Sweet, and go right ahead. DC 15.
Oh, that's bad. Aha! That's a 21 at advantage.
Very nice. It's a little tricky at first because there's a lot of stuff, like you're moving a little three-dimensionally, so you have a moment of like, okay, hang on, wait. And then with Zalace's help, you're able to start pointing out proper landmarks, and you find a good way to sort of like track it in a three-dimensional sense, and you kind of like make note of landmarks and then start making a map on the side. And by the time that this journey's over, Chaplain, it'll need time to make details, but you're able to make a rudimentary map of the journey from the portal to where you're going. That is pretty darn accurate.
Great.
Awesome. Is there anybody else? I will say for you, Ed, as you are here, there's something about this place. It's very, very difficult to describe, but there's something like inside of you that is it feels familiar but foreign at the same time, where there's something inside of you that's like feels it's very difficult to describe. It's like there's a part of you that's like that everybody else I think shares, that there's this idea of like, okay, we're not in Kansas anymore, like this is a weird place, this isn't making a lot of sense. But there's a part of you, Ed, that while indeed you do feel that, there's a part of you that's like, but it also feels kind of right, but not, but foreign at the same time. It's very difficult to describe, but there's something like in your fingertips and in your stones that's like feeling it's getting aligned with this place. Not quite, but it's like a puzzle piece that you're trying to like force to put together at this point. You didn't know that there was another puzzle piece to be had, but in this moment it's like you've got this puzzle piece, and if you just could turn it the right way, it would fit together. But in this moment you're trying to force two sides together that don't quite fit, and it's almost right in a way that you haven't experienced before.
Do a history check or something? Or
You can make an Arcana check if you wish.
Arcana, okay.
Or nature, either or. I'll allow either.
Let me go with Arcana. All right, that's an 18 plus 7. 25.
18 plus 7. So yeah, 25 will do it. You look at your hands and you see like you're in a suit right now, but you look at your hand, maybe remember what your hand looks like, perhaps. And feel sort of like the stone across your knuckles and across your body. And you remind yourself that you are plane touched. You are born of latent elemental energy. You have a certain portion of the elemental plane of earth within you. And while you are in the elemental plane of water, the elemental plane of earth is right next door. And that is where this latent primordial energy that has attached itself to you at birth comes from. So you're kind of right next door to the motherland in a way. So that's what you think it is. And maybe you might even end up like looking at Basan, whose race is very tied to the astral scene, is very tied to it, and maybe in passing you two have talked about that, about how maybe as a Gith, Basan experiences being and maybe Zalace too as a psionic feels a certain attachment to the wild space and the astral sea that others don't, and you kind of feel like that in this way. Yeah. But anyway, you guys travel forth deeper into the realm, making your way towards the Palace of 1,000 Pearls, I believe is what it was called, is what I said. And we're going to get there in just a moment. But let's take a break and give me a chance to figure that out.
Cool.
Cool.
Because random encounters.
Random encounters, man. Hey, it's a sandbox.
Oh no.
I love it though. This is
Oh,
fun too.
I'm
In
pretty
my
into
mind,
this.
I thought there was like a really clever contraption by the wizard that had been like, "Oh, yeah, if I want to get to my sanctum, we got to go through a whirlpool portal to get it."
Oh no, that makes no that's what I thought we were doing. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, the wizard's here. No. Oh
This
no,
has nothing to
this is
do with it.
something
Oh
else
no.
entirely. Oh.
We've been diverted.
And then he's like, random encounter. I'm like, oh no, this is for all of us. None of us, not even the DM, was expecting this. Which
Who
is
says
why I
a
love
random
this game.
encounter can't lead you closer to your thing?
So
final
I certainly got us to somewhere with potential gains, just
And
not
also,
where we were intending.
like, we did not take a down payment on this gig, right? And nobody's supposed to know about this gig. So if we end up making like great friends with the married and it doesn't suit, I mean, like, we've got so many options. We can do whatever we want. We've got
There's
sandbox.
definitely
So
potential for some, like, if we go on the good side, I mean, we've got an underwater mission on the docket and we've arrived in the actual plane of water. Make some good friends. We could make this job a lot easier.
right?
There's
Unlike
nothing
what?
saying that you can't make some allies here.
Oh no, what's gonna happen if they find out? It's not as if they got a hotline to the plane of water to be like, hey, did anyone try to kill the wizard recently?
There's also a very cool, if anyone was feeling like a warlock was cool, this is the perfect time to pick up that water genie pact.
Oh yeah, shit. Oh yeah, that's what marrieds are. Shit.
Bisan
Yeah, they're
actually had
genies.
considered that, but you know.
And you're also meeting literally the mother of all marrieds too, so that would be an interesting pact to take.
Sadness. Okay.
Could be fun.
Not with a 10 charisma.
Not with a 10 charisma, unfortunately. No, not with a
My
10
my poor little girl. She was working on it though. She still is. She still is. We're gonna we got more ASIs coming up. We're gonna put those in charisma. We need to. We have to talk to people now. She was not ever supposed to talk to people. That's why common as a second language was her shtick. This was my I'm just gonna hit things character.
Yep.
And now she's a quartermaster.
I mean, hey, you can always hire a new quartermaster.
Nah, she's not like that. She got asked to do something by the captain.
Well, I can't wait till they ask for a blood tribute and you guys can find a way to get rid of this extra PC who's on board. I'm kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's crazy. How about now? So I imagine the answer to that would be.
I feel like so not speaking specifically, but speaking generally and hypothetically, in a situation like this, as a DM, are you open to keeping that character as like the NPC? Because how often are we going to hang out with the cook?
Yeah. I think but there's also the point where it's like we might be able, like, we've allowed it to happen because like it's a PC bringing in a character they want to bring in. We're trying to be accommodating to that, but at the end of the day, it's a bad it's a bad hire. A Skrull, like whatever, however nice they are, it's kind of a rough person to put aboard your ship. So that's your guys' decision. Um, but I'm certainly not going to like force anyone to keep aboard a.
I didn't
Uh,
know if we needed to try to hold space.
no, there's no obligation, and she can just like hang out on the Rock of Brawl. So if like one day we get Steph back, and she can just be rehired, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can have Shaka like man like at the comedy club like as consistent entertainment.
it's true. It's true. Hire her to like run things. Um, yeah, there's yeah. We're not gonna make her. We're not gonna like kill her off or anything. Like, there's no reason to do that if unnecessary. But yeah, no obligation to hang out with a scrow either if that's becoming too much of a burden. Yeah, I got a little work to do here real quick. I'm actually very excited. Oh, yeah, nobody's here. It's just me. It's okay. Get back to it once everyone's back. Summon the crew. So, has anyone seen Arcane? Arcane 2 came out.
I have, yeah, seen the first 3 episodes.
Oh, man, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Oh, jeez. I don't want to talk about it too much so not to spoil for other folks, but oh,
I need to see. I need the rest to come out.
I know. Man, I gotta wait
Send
till
me the next
Saturday. Are you
week.
kidding me? Yeah.
Saturday's gonna be great. That I got Eberron and Arcane on the same day.
Oh, it's gonna be good. All right. We'll get started whenever Ed gets back. Ed gets back. So, welcome back, everybody. Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry about that. But I was here for like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. No worries. You guys follow the Marriotts, follow. And after a while, you guys are going to make your way through a coral forest on the sea levels below, to this plateau within, I don't know, this strange watery space that you're in. And as you approach, you see it coming through the water. You see the citadel of 10,000 pearls, a magnificent underwater palace nestled into the deep waters of this great sea, and it shines with a mesmerizing blend of bioluminescent corals, radiant pearls, and other sourceless lights. The architecture is a sweeping combination of smooth coral spires forming into grand, peaking towers and delicate seashell patterns, with sections that glimmer from encrusted jewels. Um, the water here, those who you guys aren't outside yet, so we don't need to worry about any of that. But you also see schools of vibrant fish and aquatic creatures dancing around the palace spires. Not to mention that there seems to be a pod of humpback whales that sort of move around the palace. A number of beautiful creatures wander here and there. And you guys are led over by the Marriotts to dock. There are no other things here, but there's your ship. And you sort of come to dock at the edge of the palace, where the Marriotts will sort of, a couple of them depart. Well, you don't know that because they go out of sight behind your ship. But yeah, you guys are sort of brought there. And I think you'll see Etharrith will, or Tidewalker will, you will coordinate with you, Etharrith, but I think she'll poke her head down and kind of gesture that she's going to like go around and will like swim around. And then Etharrith, you can do the same if you wish to do that.
Okay.
Yep. So you guys will meet the rest of the crew at the back of the ship, but those of you inside, who's coming? Who's coming? Who's coming with? Chaplain doesn't need a breeze, so beautiful.
I can still have my suit on. I just gotta throw my little helmet on, right?
I'll tell you what though, just to make life a little quicker, Tidewalker will re-enter the ship as you guys are prepping to leave. And she will say, the Marriott have extended the gift of water breathing to those that would be worthy or important enough to, they said worthy or important enough, but considered important for this who would wish to be officers and come forth to meet with the leader here.
And Bisan will step forward.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, let's go.
That was nice.
So you two will like step in there and into the thing, and you can stand side by side. And you guys will have to hold your breath for a minute as you kind of like make your way out into the water. As you seal the door, let the water flow, open the door, and as you guys come out, sort of, you see one of these large creatures, and with a flick of a wrist, suddenly you will feel magic sort of like swell around your lungs, and then we'll kind of like gesture for you two to like breathe, and then you take the very uncomfortable moment of like sucking water into your lungs, where you're like, this feels like a bad idea, and as you do, there isn't any discomfort. There's a little discomfort, just a little, where you feel your lungs sort of flood with water, but you're able to, your lungs seem to be capable of picking the oxygen out from the water, and you kind of like breathe the water, and after a moment it begins to feel a little more natural, but hard to get used to the idea of having water in your lungs. But you're able to breathe fine, if a little uncomfortable. The creature will speak, and will be translated by Tidewalker. She says, this individual is known as Shahifa. That is the name of this particular Marinid who stands in front of us, and would ask which of those of you would wish to be capable to, or most importantly, capable of speaking when we meet the Great Padisha. They have the ability to infer some level of language comprehension to a select few.
Shadow step forward, and he'll motion that direction.
Step forward.
Okay, Etharrith and Ed. And he'll nod. Yeah, we'll cast, or actually they have more than enough. So he's going to cast tongues, as there's no concentration. He's going to cast tongues on Ed, tongues on Etharrith. He's got one more in the bank, so he'll just like pick a random one out of you. He'll pick Basan, tongues, and those sort of strange words, those worries one. We will meet with Myriad within, and they will be able to infer this ability upon the rest of those of you who decide to join us. Now, please, this way. Tidewalker will translate, but you guys will quickly meet up with a second Myriad who will infer the power of tongues on all of you, which basically means when you speak, other creatures will be able to understand you. So it's not like you know another language now. So when you speak common, others will hear it in their preferred language. And when they speak in their preferred language, you'll be able to understand it. It's not like the words translate for you. It's just your brain's able to comprehend it somehow. But yeah, you guys can all begin to make your way forward as you follow the Myriad. And as you do so, and are ushered into the Citadel, you are going to see these regal but beautiful merfolk guards. They are very much like mermen and mermaids in physical shape. They have like the tail, but they are also have Triton qualities: blue, soft skin, various fins decorating their where their hair would be. They still have hair, fins across their arms, webbed hands and such, and they are adorning, tridents and such. These like really beautiful guards. And as you walk through, you are going to see the halls adorned with seaweed tapestries and statues of notable Myriad. and myriad rulers. And every step, or rather every slow, buoyant glide in these white lit steps, feels reverent. And as you're drawn closer, you feel the arched doorways obeyed and gilded pearls open before them. You'll see many alcoves in the walls where, much like where you'd put busts and statues and such, you see these beautiful, gleaming, fist-sized pearls, just like much like on a crystal ball stand, or just like propped there, where like beautiful light sort of speckles down to emulate like dozens and dozens of these beautiful pearls. You expect indeed it is worthy of the name, the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls. Um, as you move closer and through this vision of regal beauty, is there anything you'd like to do as you move through these halls?
Like tech like? Do they have any like artificery? Is this all like natural? Or what's that? What's the vibe of that?
This place is clearly artificial to some extent. Yeah, like the architecture is clearly crafted, the alcoves are clearly crafted. This is definitely a place that was made. And if it was found at one point, it's definitely been polished into this place of regality. As you approach, the Myriad will speak back to all of you, and he will say, "When you meet the Grand Padisha, she is not a Myriad to be crossed or disrespected. When you meet with her, bow to her, and refer to her either as Great Padisha of the Myriads, or Your Highness. Bow reverently and low, and when the time comes, make sure that your tribute that you spoke of is readily available. Do not make her wait." Is that understood? Do you have any questions about the meeting of royalty?
Thank you. We appreciate the swift and steady guidance, and we're honored to meet her. All right.
Very good.
Hey, what's the tribute? Do we have it ready?
I may or may not have told them that we're the types to do jobs for people, folks, you know, and they need our hands, well, I offered them.
I ooh, can Bisan roll an insight check? Like I
You know
feel
what?
like he was asking for us to give him something. Like that's what it sounded like to my ear, but I want to make sure I'm not
Uh,
wrong.
I don't think an insight's required. He's very specifically said, when you meet the Great Padisha, make sure that your tribute that you spoke of is readily available, and not to make her wait. So very clearly there is expectation of tribute. And
Yeah.
apparently someone had spoke. You weren't there for it, but apparently in the initial meeting, someone spoke of tribute.
So Bisan would stop and look at the captain and say, I think they expect us to give them something material. We should not go forward if this is what they expect, unless we have said thing.
As you guys stop in the hall, the Mary would turn around, look at you all, and say, "It is not wise to keep the great Padisha waiting. She expects your presence."
I was going to offer my mind as a tribute, but they need something literal. Do we have anything we can hold in front of them?
Great Padisha takes many tributes so long as they are worthy. If you have relics or jewels, fanciful items from faraway lands, servants to grant. She'll take a lot of tribute, so long as, of course, it is worthy of one who is of royal blood, such as she.
I love stuff from Marvel.
Can I make a perception check of anybody around us who's just anybody around us, see if there's guards watching and stuff like that?
The answer is yes. You guys are foreign strangers in the palace, and this Marriott, as well as the various merfolk, you are a group of great interest.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be very clear. See, you look in any direction, and there's a number of individuals staring at your group.
That's fine then. I'll just keep my hands in my pockets.
You feel the jitter, coming on. Put it in your pocket.
I was going to grab something for a tribute. Maybe theirs in the first place, but you know.
You gotta have some. That's so much cool. Have some.
I have one thing I can offer.
What's that, Dirk?
I have a ring. I stole it from someone on the previous job.
Perfect. You have a ring for him. It's a lot easier and more literal than mine, though. Definitely not as good as mine.
And you'll see beside her taps her chest. I think my
No.
amulet has value too.
Well, my question is this, though. This guy said we already mentioned the tribute, so he ain't that there for the only ones that talked to him. And Time
Is
Walker.
that, I believe you offered trade that may have been mistranslated.
Ah.
It was. I marked it when it happened.
I heard tribute. Sorry,
It was
thought...
no, it's all right. It was something that Ed said, and Ryan did respond from these folks talking about responding about tribute.
Okay.
This was all conversation that happened earlier. I heard it when it happened.
Understood. Either way, whether it was trade or tribute, my apologies, but with that said, it wouldn't also affect this conversation. They would still put forth to you that the queen would expect tribute from guests of her palace.
All right, I think we're fine.
Maybe we can all.
There's a ring and an amulet, so long as they are exceptional. And he turns around and continues to move through the corridors, expecting you to follow.
I'll follow. Yeah, I like the ring.
Okay. You guys follow. As you do, you will note that the water is very warm here. And there's a couple of features that I want to tell you about the palace as you move through the various spectacles. You guys see these large circular coral reefs that look much like fountains, except rather than, of course, pouring water, they bubble up. An endless cylinder of bubbles that seem to dance around each other in intentional patterns as they ascend upward. You find carpets as you walk across, sort of bound across the palace. You find carpets of kelp. There are copper doorways. You see giant clams that various Marriotts sit in, carouse with each other and speak to. Gorgeous schools of fish that sort of swim through the hallways. It is a beautiful, beautiful place until you finally come to the Great Hall, or the grand doors that lead to the Great Hall. And he says, "Very well, she is just beyond these doors. Are you ready?" Good luck, and if I may give one last piece of advice, the great Padisha is one who is very generous, but also she's very generous, very honorable leader of the Marriotts, but easy to anger. So be respectful And don't forget to bow and address her properly. Very well. And he will. You see, he like positions himself and prepares himself, and then opens the doors and walks in with some adjustment to his posture as he sort of swims in. And all of you swim in behind, I imagine.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You do so and find yourself sitting in basically what would be her kind of throne room, but it looks more like a parlor, a place of entertainment, where you will indeed struggle to go through all these pillars, apparently. And eventually, indeed, find your way within. So we're going to put our little steward to the side. You see many places to sit, many beautiful, indeed, seafood-like dishes on various small tables. It's very Arabian, where you look more like sit on the ground and on like a plush pillow rather than a chair, if at all, because of the underwater nature of the place. Maybe just float next to the table. You do see more merfolk sort of floating up amongst the pillars, but they're more. You get the sense they're more for like to be pleasing to the eye, dressed very scantily in various seashells and so on, and men and women of the merfolk variety that are beautiful to behold, exceptional to behold. There is another, a much more genie-looking fellow with like a turban and like airy blue skin, sort of sitting at one table with a long black beard. There's a number of water elementals and other merits sitting around. But what is most exceptional, of course, is who you expect to be the leader herself. You see, and is introduced by the Myriad. I present Kaldori Eldrot Al-Miraj Idujari, great Padisha of the Myriad, mother of foam, and the Mahra of the oceans, mistress of rivers, and many more. And he will bow lowly to her, as you see, and I will describe her now. You see that she has skin of the darkest black and hair of a coralline red, piled indeed around her head in the shape of a turban. And she's adorned in gold and silver and blue-colored robes that give hints of even richer garments beneath. She sort of sits centrally at the court. Do you all bow?
Etharrith bows.
You all bow very low, respectfully.
Oh, yeah, very deeply. Yeah.
Very deeply. And the Myriad says, and allow me to present, indeed, guests to the realm of the great Padisha. This is the crew of the Prophet's Demise, the ship we now see at port at the edge of the citadel of 10,000 Pearls. And we'll gesture to you, Captain, to step forward. And he'll sort of step back, introductions made. The great Padisha, you wisely wait until spoken to. And she says, welcome to my realm, the citadel of 10,000 pearls, and I, the great Padisha, welcome you.
Your Highness, you honor us by allowing us in here. I wish we would have found each other with more planning, so I would have worn something a lot more suitable. But seems serendipity was on our side. You honor us gracefully by bringing us here. This is my crew. I would go one by one introducing you guys, hoping you guys nail the bow when I say your name. This is Etharrith. A greater mind you can never find. Basan, a swift fighter, honor, and mental prowess. Chaplain, a very funny and creative soul. And Demise is a dreamer, a man of action. We are the officers of the Prophet's Demise, and we humble ourselves before you today. Look at you guys. Look at my nailing.
I see. And who is your aquatic servant? The trident at your side. Tidewalker looks at you.
Tidewalker. This is a Tidewalker, one of our newest recruits, but truly a standout, proven by far, and quite honored to be here as well.
Hmm. It has been long since I have had such exceptional visitors here in my realm. I have not seen such a variety of creatures here and there before. Well, I thank you for venturing into my realm, and I ask you, state your purpose. What brings you to my magnificent palace? Now, before there's an answer, since you are sitting at the front, Ed, I do want you to roll me an active insight check to see if you can understand, because there's a lot of things being said and there's a lot of words not being said.
A 12 plus, and you said insight?
Mm-hmm.
12 plus 1, 13.
13. Okay. You don't pick up anything particularly of note underneath her words. Nothing more than what you would all pick up by yourself. But she goes, what brings you all
Before
to my go ahead.
I was gonna say before he answers, Chaplain will tug on his sleeve a little bit.
Okay. So
Don't
yeah, she says, "What brings you to my watery realm?" And then you tug on his shirt.
don't forget the tribute.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, before we say any further, we wanted to present you something, Your Highness, with from our work. Etharrith, please, if you may.
Etharrith lifts their head and kind of begrudgingly reaches into their pack and takes out the ring of the unseen. A powerful magical ring, Your Highness, capable of concealing one's presence or even hiding precious objects of your own. And may I approach?
I think one of the guards sort of gives you a gesture to approach the great Adisha.
Kind of hop, not used to moving in water, so
Yeah, it is a
sort
bit
of
of a
half,
hop. Yeah.
half swim, half hop over, and then kind of kneel down and offer the ring.
Yeah, you offer her the ring, and she sort of just does a gesture, and the water moves to her very command, as if the water itself was a servant of hers. And it's worth putting out there, these myriad you've met clearly are creatures of unknown power, but there's something about her when she speaks. It's as if the tide itself responds or listens in case there is a command. You get the sense that this entity is one of tremendous command over the watery realm. And as she sort of almost brings a hand up to grab the ring, almost a little Jedi the water itself picks the ring up from your hand and sends it to her hand. She just sort of grabs it out of the air as if she expects the water to bring it to her hand, and so it does. And she sort of peers at it and says, Etharrith, make me a persuasion check to see if your presentation appeases the great Padisha's need for tribute.
Sweet Lord, man. Sweet Lord.
Or performance. You may do performance too if you wish.
I mean, my precision's bad as a 26.
26. She looks at the ring and goes, "A most peculiar ring. It is quaint. The craftsmanship of the material plane. I've always interested by mortals of other worlds. And what use to hide things? Tribute is well received. Etharrith of the Great Mind. And she will like sort of almost like cast the ring aside in the water. It'll sort of like dance along the currents of the water to some unseen place. And you maybe get like a gesture from one of the guards, like step back, and so you do that.
Just like this little scurry back.
Yeah, a little bowed scurry back. And she says, "A fine tribute from your crew. Now, please sit, drink, eat your fill, and please tell me what brings you to my domain. What would you wish from here? What is your purpose?" And she's asked this a number of times, so I'm going to open it up. If anyone wants to make an insight check, why she seems insistent on asking this question over and over.
I'll roll it.
All right.
That's a natural 20, 26.
Natural 20, baby, 26. Etharrith, you do understand, and I think you in this moment understand, you who is a follower of a god, there's a lot unsaid between a god and their follower, and very much in this moment, a royal is not quite a god, but there's a lot of similarities. You understand there's a lot that's not being said, and as she's like consistently asking you to tell you what your purpose is, what you're doing here, it's not that she wants to help you, it's that she wants to be indulged. She wants to hear you. You're here because your curiosity is to entertain. She wants to be entertained. She wants to be indulged. You get the sense that she's looking for treasures in words. She's looking for stories. Maybe riddles or clever exchanges.
I look to Ed and kind of, may I, Captain?
Please.
Your Highness, we are, I would say, we are a crew of adventurers, but also with a mission. And our original intention was, well, we've stumbled into your realm quite by accident. We were hunting down a wizard back on the material plane on a planet just composed entirely of water. And during our deep dive into its depths, we stumbled upon a portal here, thinking perhaps that the wizard would use such means of travel to transport themselves or hide their sanctum.
See. And whatever are you tracking this wizard for?
Always kept me. We hail from a moon known as the Rock of Braal, and I'm sure as a being of great renown and power, you are familiar with the petty squabbles of those beneath you. And we have been requested to take care of, well, to slay a wizard for a rival, and to bring some much needed stability to an otherwise volatile political climate.
See. You are then pawns of the great political game, then. Warriors in the ever-churning power struggles of mortal politicians. How very interesting and possibly fortuitous. Ah. And so you mean to slay this political rival of your benefactor?
That is the intention, although we have also been given some rights to the great many magical artifacts that this wizard may hold.
I see.
While we are undertaking this mission and under a contract, but our party strives towards a much greater purpose.
I see. A greater purpose still. More than just simple political pawns? Whatever do you... Let me guess. The demise of a grand prophet?
Just as you say, Your Highness. Are you familiar with the mind flayers of the astral plane?
I have heard from them once or twice, but as you could imagine, we do not bother much with such spacefaring illicit often here.
We were once the crew under a different captain, all of us here. And this mind flayer prophet slew our previous captain, many of our crewmates, and we barely escaped with our lives. We walk the path of vengeance. This this prophet is a threat to all of the material plane, but more than anything else. They dealt us a great wound, and we would seek retribution. But to face such an opponent requires power, and so we undertake these missions and quests to amass the power we need to face down our greatest foe.
Etharrith, you may make a performance check. I'll give you advantage because you have appeased her need for tribute in both word and material.
6, that's a natural 20. 25.
Oh, 25. She says, my political pawns to garner power, to slay a terrible illicit for revenge. Oh, and surely the good of the great of all. How intriguing. And indeed, intrigued I am. I would see this story unfold with my very eyes. I impress indeed a boon upon you and your party, so long as, of course, you remain for the evening to indulge my need for exotic travelers and adventures in my retinue and court. If you stay the evening, I will think of a boon worthy of this task that I might be able to keep my eyes on how this story unfolds.
You do us a great honor, Your Highness. I'm certain we can provide the exact entertainment and company you seek.
Good, good. And entertained already I am. And looking about you, all such interesting figures, I expect there is no shortage of tale to be told. What boon should I impose? I will allow you to put forth something for my consideration. What, I pray tell, would benefit your voyage for revenge best? You seek power? Was your power in the form of magics? Power in the form of wealth? Or does it be unspecific? But if you were to have your way with this boon, what generally would appease your needs?
Allow us to confer, Your Highness. This is an offer that would requires some thought.
Just never mind. I have made up my mind. I have decided that
Yeah,
too boring.
You can't keep her waiting.
Yeah, she got bored too quickly. She goes, I have decided I shall impose upon you two boons. The first of which I shall grant you a single pearl from my collection, one that is installed with the power to heal. Indeed, you may utilize this. I will grant this unto you to have on your person to keep, indeed, perhaps aboard your ship as a time to remind yourself of your being here in this court. And should your ship ever come under attack or duress, it shall possess the power to once and once only to heal your entire crew to the maximum number of constitutions that you might all hold within your group. One needs simply lay a bloody hand upon it in the heat of battle, and it will ensure your crew all aboard your ship, loyal to your captain, will regain the full fighting vigor once more. I shall grant you this enchanted pearl, and once more, so that I might watch your events unfold, I will take a warlock from your party. You may indeed take the evening to make your decisions as to who that may be, but I will indeed take a warlock amongst one of you. This person must, of course, be entertaining enough to merit such a gift, of course. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
We all bow very low.
That's most generous. Thank you very much.
The generosity has left me quite stunned, Your Highness.
A very diplomatic way of putting it. I like you, my lizardy friend. Well, now, let us hear about the rest of you. And I would, and we can fast track this a little bit because she'll basically have you wine and dine and tell her stories and keep her entertained throughout the night. So I'm actually going to ask for a group performance check to see how well you appease. Etharrith has clearly taken the lead, and he's already put her at a good place. So the DC is lowered. So actually, I'm going to say, Etharrith, you're good. You've well appeased her, and you've set the bar for the rest of the party, and brought down the DC. So from the four of you, and I'll throw Tidewalker in there too, because she'll be interested to hear from the Trident. I need performance checks, please and thank you.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this affects things. You can decide that. But can I march out the AP units, and we will do our dance line thing? And in addition to that, like, he'll also, like, he's kind of into it. Like, she clearly wants to be entertained, and he likes to entertain. This is sort of his thing. So that, and he would use, some thaumaturgy and some disguise self to do like a little storytelling about maybe one of their adventures, maybe the encounter with the lunar dragon when they almost got killed or whatever.
Yeah, you know what? Let's have some fun with this. You're entertaining a royal. Let's see. We'll just go through and see how everybody entertains the royal. So yeah, Chaplain. Yeah, we'll have some fun. So Chaplain, you while Etharrith is like finishing up his story, they provide you a messenger, and they send back word to box units to come in, and they come. What is like after she's done with Etharrith, says, "Who next will tell me something of themselves? Show this court who they are." And I imagine Chaplain, you like,
yeah, he'll be like, "Oh, I have an interesting story. Would you like to hear the story of the time that we almost all got killed by a lunar dragon?"
"Of course, Metal Gnome. How interesting. Please." And then the doors open, and the pox units will come out like line dancers, like basically come in like this, like doing the dancey skip into like position. And she, so so you do this like tremendous dance. If you want to describe it, go ahead.
No, I feel free. You're doing fine.
Yeah, but it's basically what you've already described, where it's this dance, and you're like, okay, everybody, 2, 3, 4, and
Right.
yeah, they start doing like their crazy, like almost like at this point it's probably like synchronized swimming at this point, where they're
Right.
like dancing around each other and like doing this thing around you, and and it's and they
Wink,
use like
wink.
their body, yeah, yeah, and they like use their bodies to like create like a dragon thing,
Yeah.
where like four of them are like making the legs like holding on, or like I don't know, two of them are making wings, and one's like the head. And um, go ahead and make me a just maybe a performance check and make it an advantage as you're the choreographer.
Yeah. And yeah, he will also like he'll use the disguise self to like make himself look like Zalace, who's clearly also standing right there, but like for the Zalace portion of it or whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, okay. We are going to use Built for Success. Hold on, let me find it. Okay.
And if it matters, she probably won't like if anyone were like wanting to cast like buffs or whatever like that. Um, I think if you were to like do that for like a one-to-one communication about something important, that might piss her off. But for the sake of entertainment, she'll have no truck with the use of magic to better entertain her. So just to put
Oh,
that out
sure,
there.
yeah.
That'll
It's only like performative magic, like thaumaturgy and disguise self and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's completely
She
um
will not mind at all.
so altogether that was a 17.
17 altogether. Yeah, you're still working on the pox units being like a little less stiff and a little more fluid. So they come out a little robotically and they do the whole thing robotically. And but if you pull it off, there's no big mistakes or anything like that. The pox units don't like make any big mistakes, and um, you don't pull anything too risky because you don't want to like risk displeasing or embarrassing yourself. But yeah, you do the whole performance. And the Myriad does the Myriad Great Padisha watches with amusement and excitement and sort of nods her head. Um, Maybe you were hoping for something, maybe a little bit bigger reaction from her, but she does like smile and watch and like applauds at the end and so on. And this seemed to have moderately appeased her. She is a queen and has seen a great deal of entertainments. But
Right.
it was a new sight for her, and she enjoyed it. She says, most exciting tale. How interesting these metal men and gnomes and such. Very good. Who else would entertain the great Padisha of the Myriad?
Misan will step up.
Because I admit, I have a great knowledge of the world, but there is much I have not seen firsthand. What are you?
I am Githzerai. My name is Bisan Isandro. I'm from Limbo, and where I'm from, the Anarchs hold the spaces together with their minds. And from the time we're hatched, communities teach us to fight against the Illithid. Words are easier here. Oh, you like stories. Would you like to hear how we saved the Kandori, or would you like to hear how we lost our captain?
Make a persuasion
Her
check.
Highness. And Shubal.
Yep.
17.
17. He says, hmm, making decisions. let us hear. Let us hear about. Yes, seeming to Kindori, I'm led to believe that these celestials are rather not unlike my own whales. And she sort of gestures out, and you see the pod of some like 4 or 5 humpback whales.
Bisan is going to open her bag and put out a wreath of papers around her. And as she tells the story of meeting the druid and of going to pick all of the mushrooms and all of the animals, piece of paper by piece of paper, she's going to use her mage hand, and if I need to throw some psi stuff on it, I will, to do like a little stop action animation of what happened, including like the Kindori moving together. So she's going to try to make it that kind of thing. So I will tell the story, but the shtick will be taking
Yeah.
the papers and folding it as she tells the story.
Absolutely. You will notice that when you take your papers out, they are very soggy and delicate. But this is a grand palace, and if you require them to do your performance, I imagine that they write on stone or coral or something. But for the sake of this performance, we'll say that they bring out some like enchanted paper for you to utilize. And go ahead. I want to do 2 checks because you will be sort of you've become very good at using one, manipulating one, but now you're going to do a number of them. So you're pushing the limits a little bit. Let's see how that goes. So I want you to make me. I think we've done an intelligence-based sleight of hand check in the past for this. So go ahead and make me one of those now.
I dropped my dice. No, but I'm not rolling this one. Hold on, I gotta get my dice. I can't.
Yeah, no problem.
Sucks. All right. See, that was worth it because that's a 15 on the dice.
Nice.
So, intelligence-based sleight of hand.
So are you proficient with sleight of hand?
No, I am not proficient in sleight of hand. But
so just add
but normally it would be +5. That would be dex, but you want internet, it would be +3. So 15 + 3 is 18.
18 is very, very good. Yeah, I think Basan, it'll be a little bit of like like you act things out with the papers and then kind of like describe the scene and then you act out the next scene. So it'll be a little bit like, I gotta talk and then do this. Doing it at the same time is a little tough, but maybe a performance check and we'll see how well it goes.
Okay. I'm actually gonna roll Bisan's dice. Don't fuck me. Okay,
Don't fuck me, Gil.
That's not bad. I think it's gonna be a flat roll of a 14 because I can't add anything to it.
Yeah, it's just a 0.
So yeah,
0 bonus.
Yeah, she's
13.
Charisma.
Yeah, so you do this, and you do the skill portion exception. And Basan is a little she's in a very like flamboyant character. So you kind of sit there and kind of like look at the ground and kind of focus on raining out your psionic influence to like and you're telling the story as you go while you do the mache stuff, but you get the sense that like she isn't listening to you so much as she is interested in like the skill that you present. And she watches with like a fair like, oh, very interesting. Certainly not on the level of entertainment that she enjoyed with Etharrith. You're sort of on the same level of Chaplain here a little bit. She kind of goes, oh, very interesting. It's entertaining a little bit, like going on like a big stage for a magic show and doing like a "is this your card" kind of thing. And she's like, oh, okay. She's again a royal, and she's seen great measures of entertainment in her life, so she's a tough audience. But she watches and she's like, oh, okay, and does like a measured nod of entertainment, and the court sort of politely applauds when you complete your story. Um, and she'll nod at you, sort of like a well done nod.
No,
She'll look
I'll go
past and
away.
say, she'll not look past and say, and who else? Who else has something for me?
Ed'll step forward and
The captain. Yes. What a strange suit you wear.
yeah, yeah. And actually, he's gonna take off his helmet to like show his head, because he can breathe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't breathe water. But
Oh,
yeah,
never
because
mind.
you're.
Yeah, no, I thought it was everyone. So disregard that.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, you're right. This keeps me able to breathe and talk to you. And there's well, there's only one story I've been wanting to share to someone that wasn't there. And well, it's and Ed's gonna start telling the story of when he piloted through the ship, like when he got, like cool moment. And he's gonna like really like. Normally, Edward isn't a good storyteller, but like this is kind of like he's telling it like he would be telling other hotshot pilots. He's really playing up how like violent and how death defying and cool it was, which it was. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's gonna tell that story, and he, uh, he's gonna and even though not unintentionally, it kind of it speaks up to how good of a pilot Ed is, like because he's the one piloting, doing all this stuff, but he's really sort of telling it in a almost modest way, but yeah.
Got it. Make me a persuasion check for the telling of this story. This piloting boast.
That is a flat 11.
Flat 11. Um, Similarly, she listens and just kind of like nods her head as you basically tell her like you're a very skilled pilot. Um, and you tell her the story. She kind of is like, oh, right, interesting. And you sense that she doesn't really have context for how difficult it is, some of the maneuvers you make, where you hit points in the story and you're like, oh, and there were these two boulders and I did a barrel roll like right underward. It was very difficult because of the wings of the damselfly made it a very difficult. And she's like, oh, okay. And you're like, you realize kind of halfway through your story that she doesn't have any spell like context to know how difficult spell jamming piloting is in that situation. So she's like, oh, sure, sure. It's like taking someone on a date, like telling them like how awesome you are at like race car driving when she barely knows what the engine light does. And so she listens and goes, very interesting. You sense her uh disinterest, and maybe you kind of cut it short. And she goes, oh, sorry. Very skilled pilot indeed, Captain. Very skilled indeed. What have you, and she points past you, Ed, to Zalace, and says, and you, halfling, we do not see halflings at court. What, tell me of yourself and your weight in the worlds.
Your Highness, and he'll bow very deeply and very courteous. I would like to tell you a story of how a small halfling man and a glorious golden gnome saved themselves from an elliptic ship by firing themselves from a mangonel through the seas in a daring escape, which could only be known as magnificent. As we sailed through, we fought our way through the elliptic ship, fighting off these abominable creatures, making our way to this mangonel where we find ourselves to our own ship, who was leaving us stranded, and rightly so, as we were most probably would have been dead and captured. But we made ourselves brave and fortified ourselves and flew ourselves through the astral sea to our own ship. It was magnificent, Your Highness.
Yes, indeed, I sense this tale perhaps related to this tale of revenge. Indeed, indulge me. And you may go ahead and roll a performance check to tell this tale. I am going to give you advantage, though, because this is um, a tale related to the focal point of her interest in your party.
14.
14. She listens and nods and hears the tale. And it's very depth-defying and such. There's points where she like loses context altogether. And then there's a polite applause to the performance. Though not, she doesn't seem as appeased as she could have been. But she goes, "It's an interesting to be shot from a what is this thing you said, a mangonel? How sounds like a rather interesting contraption. Very well, um, well enough. Um, who else? Oh, as we come to the end of the night, you shall point with great excitement to Tidewalker and say, a Triton of a material plane, one so far from the realm of water, my realm of water anyway, but similar enough to be sort of cousins to my own merfolk. God, please come forward and my boredom. Um, Tidewalker kind of not being the most charismatic individual looks at you all kind of swims forward and up. And she says, "Great Vidisha, you honor me, and with your respect for my race, and I will." Oh, yep.
Ooh, could I slap her with a little guidance for performance?
Yep, absolutely. You absolutely can. Yep, but she says you honor me with your knowledge of my people and your respect for them. I'm very honored to the Trident traditions. Um, uh, and she's kind of scrambling for maybe she has been scrambling for what to do. I'm trying to look up her shtick here. Give me a second. Here we are. I think she's gonna do something very British. Try and use it that way. Something cultural. She says, actually, your Royal Highness, I can see that your guardsmen here, the beautiful merfolk of your court, have tails, much like many fish folk. We Triton do not. We have legs, much like elves and humans and so forth. And so my people have become exceptional riders of the hippocampus. If you, of course, know of these great steeds, and she will look and say, "I do. The hippocampus, a very interesting breed of seahorse." And there's some chuckles amongst the court. He says, "Yes, well, my people, and much me as well, are skilled in the art of cavalry use of the hippocampus and are skilled with the use of lance while aboard. If it would serve, I noticed you have such a grand courtyard. If you happen to have hippocampus here, I would wish to show for you how the Triton charge and display the skill of my people's martial prowess aboard such a creature, as it may not be well known in your realm." And she sort of looks and goes, "It is true. My realm relies often on magic and not martial powers, other than, of course, the merfolk. Yes, summon a hippocampus. I wish to see this." And there's a little sigh of relief. She goes, "Okay." And she goes, I give her a trident. Let us proceed immediately. And she sort of swims down and gets the thing and kind of looks at you all nervously. She goes, I don't actually know how to do this. She goes,
You're gonna be great, Slay Queen.
oh, I'm not going to slay the queen? But
Oh
what do you
no,
mean?
no, be.
Okay, I got it. Sorry, I misunderstood. She goes, okay, yeah, wish me luck. And she's going to swim out into the courtyard, and she's going to, with skill, mount the hippocampus, and they're going to like hand her like a lance, which is very much like a very long, three-pronged, at the end of it lance. And she's like, okay, and she's gonna try and do her best to do like a, she'll clap her hands, the great Padisha, and a number of what look to be like prisoners. They're these like, they look like humans. They look like reverse mermaids for all intents and purposes. They have like arms and legs like a person, but their torsos and upper body look like just like straight up fish with like sharp teeth, and they're like manacled together and like held up by seaweed. And they kind of like squirm fearfully. You get the sense that these are like prisoners of some kind that are being used as like live bait. And you get a thumbs up from Tidewalker. Tidewalker, not Tide Rider. But I'll try. And she's gonna give it a swing. She's gonna give it the old college try. She's got that D4. Is that on there?
D4.
I'm gonna give her a dex. This would be technically, yeah, this is like a modified underwater lance, so we're gonna give her. It's gonna be a dex-based performance check. She scores just a 15, and manages just to kind of like ride it in and go here and there. So she rides in with her trident and manages to like perform 3 pretty decent lancing blows to these. She like it's very Avatar, when they're riding those like 4-wing creatures and they like really like ride them kind of like forward like that. She rides it in like that, lance tucked, and she manages to hit all 3 targets. And the court applauds amusedly as they've not really seen hippocampus warrior techniques. And Tidewalker comes back looking like elated at her success, as she did not necessarily expect to succeed. I'm sure those of you with more martial skill would like look at the fine skill and see some variants of clumsiness. It wasn't like she was no perfect knight in this moment, but certainly perfect enough to appease the untrained eye of the great Padisha, who is not a martial warrior, and nor does it look anybody else at court other than the guards themselves, who just saw somebody lance something 3 times and blood, gladiatorial shit. So she comes back and goes, "Oh, very good, very good. The Triton are worthy of their name. Well, the eve grows late, and I feel satisfied with the company. I will retire now. Accommodations will be made for your party. Yes, stay for the eve, and in the morning, gifts will be imparted and boons imparted, and then you may leave. Good evening." And as the Great Padisha sort of swims up, or the water begins to carry the Great Padisha, everybody at court bows lowly. And begins to exit, and you guys are shown indeed to like lavish, beautiful guest quarters, with like kelp sheets, and like coral designed 4-pillared like bed frames, and it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous setting, and you're all given your own rooms in the guest quarters in the guest wing of the palace. You're allowed to sort of do whatever you want for the evening. They're like, also here, and they give each of you like a card, and they're like, and this is for the pool, the bubble pool, of course. Yeah. And indeed, there is like very condominium-esque. There is if you go down to the lower level, there are these like, they look like pools, like swimming pools, but the pools are just filled with like these like, just like bubble jets, basically. Um, and you might see like a Myriad come out with like a towel over his thing as he's basically like, just kind of like floats in the bubble reef, and it's apparently, I don't know, it seems to be like their thing they do for relaxation, like chill in the bubbles. Is there anything you guys want to do or talk about before going to bed?
Um, I think Ether would like to kind of like gather the crew together to discuss the yet unbestowed boon of becoming a warlock.
Well,
Assuming
this is
everyone's available.
I guess whenever we all meet up. This is going a lot better than might have been afraid, right? I think we're kind of doing a great job here.
Yeah, this is great.
Um,
I like it here.
Kaplan, your routine is getting better with those epoxy units. I can't
Oh,
wait.
thank you, Zalace.
It's okay.
I wanted to discuss. I mean, the pearl is a wonderful boon. Um, becoming a warlock for Her Highness is that is quite a commitment for any of us.
Well, I feel like my first choice for that felt kind of hung. I knew, but I feel like Tidewalker's maybe the perfect choice for them.
She goes, I'd be willing. I mean, she's magnificent and very watery, and so am I. But I don't want to impose. I mean, I wouldn't want to steal that opportunity from anybody. I mean, I
Yeah,
just kind of picked up the
I
work a couple days ago.
truthfully I was looking for a way to avoid taking responsibility. While I would normally jump at the chance to acquire more magical power, I
No,
feel a sense of personal conflict of interest.
I was going to say, Etharrith, I thought that boon would properly antagonize your own mum.
I,
But
truth be told, I'm not sure what she would think. That's kind of like, Ether kind of has like a few seconds of kind of like staring into space.
This is exactly why I wanted to get, help and allies and powers, or to keep connected to her. Our crew's always going to be bigger. And I mean, time walking, you did just start, but really are, really carrying your weight here. So,
Oh,
I,
I, well, yeah, of course, I would be honored to accept that from the great Padisha. Um, if nobody else wants it, of course.
so let me ask a question. A
Yeah.
warlock is a very big pull. I do like it. The only thing is, would it be a change to a full warlock, or could I multi-class and stay as I am as well?
Um, yeah, you don't have to like dedicate all of your levels to it. If you wanted to just like, you technically could take like the one level if you wanted to, and just like leave it at that. You sense that you sense that what she's getting out of it, she's like, I'm gonna take a warlock so that like I can use that warlock as like a focal point so I can watch the story unfold. Um, so that's what she's getting out of this. And then like if you're like, okay, yeah, I'll be your warlock and like get your power, and like you'd be bound to the service of her having to like stay with the party and watch events unfold. So she would require entertainment essentially. But then how much work you put into that like warlock patron relationship is how much power you're going to get out of it.
Mm. Sorry, this is just about table because I'm just
Yeah, that's why kind of like above the table, I was kind of thinking she wants to have a proxy in her. Let's just make our NPC boost it up, you know what I mean? It doesn't
yeah.
really fit someone else's current theme, but if someone wants it as a player, by all means.
I'm
I
mulling
can
it over.
I can see how Zelace would want it too.
Yeah. So
I will
basically,
say-
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't think she's gonna appreciate me very much. I'm a little overly dedicated as it is, so I'm probably not the best candidate for this. But anybody else, welcome to it.
There's also the matter that she said that like I'll only bestow this warlock boon upon someone who like basically you have to have a 13 charisma. She is unwilling to
Right.
be tied to the company of someone who's a bowler.
Oh well, that's me out then.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah, that's why Bisan can't put herself forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Etharrith, you know you want it.
I think part of it is that I had like considered going into Warlock for Etharrith at some point, but I had mostly been considering it as like, oh,
An
naturally
extension of Hecate.
it would have been just Hecate, but this is like a change, and I'm wondering like, what would Hecate think? And there is something quite funny about like Etharrith now having like two sets of eyes watching them at all times. So
Yeah,
there's
you're just like the crystal ball. You're a television station.
I'm also kind of looking at like genie boons, and I
And this
mean,
would have to be the Myriad genie. There's an
Yeah.
argument for Fathomless, but
Yeah.
no, this is
this is clearly genie.
This is genie. This
Yeah.
is the Myriad
I mean-
genie subclass.
Mm. You know what, there's like some. Actually, to be fair,
Do
even just taking the one level is pretty good for Genie's Wrath. So, sure.
Yeah, but
Etharrith will-
you want it to be
You saw
you want it to
that.
be
Look at
the
that.
Great Padisha, or do you want it to be Hecate though?
Um,
Right, and
Like
fishing
it just
and
throws
caught.
off your full empathy. Because you've invested a lot of character there, and it's just like, here's the
that's
second
true.
one.
Hmm.
Yeah, the 13 charisma makes it rough, but
Like I think short term it looks cool. Long term you'll be like, why do I have this fish still attached to me?
No,
That's
do
what
it.
That really go.
I think it's like two schools of thought. Is that like because Hecate as a faith is like big on if you have a chance to gain magical power, you should take it. So
Right.
I'm being like following, religious dogma. I should just immediately take it. But I'm also like conflicted on. Well, I'm also loyal to this god. Do I want to like?
But you're doing
Well,
the right thing. You're
You
doing
can only
what
sell
you
your
want.
soul once there, Etharrith.
Yeah.
Maybe explain it to Hecate like you just did. We thought it was
Oh.
what she would want.
I have no doubt that Hecate would. I'm not expecting like divine punishment if I take it.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, you could always be like, go to her and she'd be like, "Why didn't you take it?" You're like, "Because I only want your power," and then that might tide it over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're passing on this power so that you can receive it from her, I'm sure she's not going to be pissed about that.
Yeah. I guess it's.
I mean, you
about,
saw
like,
the play.
friendship,
You saw the play about being careful about power, right?
Yeah, but that play was stupid. That play was an affront to my whole religion.
Well, you just insulted my entire.
I think Time Walker is like it kind of feels like the direction of the game because we also want to get a bigger crew, more help to take out the prophet. And this
Well,
is
the
kind of
direction's whatever you guys want to take. So if Etharrith wants it, he can have it.
yeah.
I think me as a person, not as the DM, I'm like, man, Etharrith should be like a spooky witchy warlock. But
There's and shit going super
yeah.
crazy.
But
I
as the
think.
DM, it's like you do whatever the fuck you want.
Hmm. Okay, I think Etharrith is kind of gonna like take out his staff and like twiddle it around in his hands and then go. I think that my lady would want me to take boons like these greedily, but it is not the Padisha's power that I seek. The only eyes I want upon me is my lady. So, Tidewalker, the
I'd walk her
Padisha's,
off to the side as a
yeah,
very little like.
yeah, the Padisha's boon is yours if you wish for it.
Uh, okay, yes. It- yeah. I mean, we got all night. Like, if someone changes their mind, then someone changes their mind. But I sure, yeah. I will say, this is kind of like doesn't require a response at all. But I mean, if I take it, I think it implies that I gotta stick around for a while, um, to see your whole revenge thing play out at least. So, or at least until the Great Hadisha gets bored. But
Or you die.
yeah, or I die. Yeah,
We like you. I like. Can we? Yeah, we can keep you. We can keep you. You want us to keep you?
sure. Yeah. I mean,
The question
this is
is,
pretty exciting.
Miss Tidewalker, is do you want to stay with us?
Revenge against a evil illithid. I think the honor of the Trident would demand the head of this evil creature.
Well, then, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I guess I'll become the warlock of the Great Padisha of the Citadel of 10,000 Pearls and keep being your water planet advisor and artillerist.
That's the spirit.
Cool.
What failed that like whole, that was like a total initiation thing. You got all three of them. The form was good, so.
I can't wait to tell my dad about this.
Yeah,
Just, yeah, and with that, you guys, with the decision made, you guys all head to bed. You wake up the next morning and you come to court before the Great Padisha enters. But indeed, the Great Padisha does enter and say, "Good morning, good morning." Looks over at all you and goes, "Oh, yes, I'd almost forgotten. So, which of you shall I be taking as a warlock?"
I'm just behind Tidewalker, I just give her a nice little push forward.
And she'll swim. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That'll bow lowly, do the performance, and Your Highness, we've chosen Tidewalker. A fitting choice, I think you'd find.
She goes, I admit, I was hoping. And Tidewalker will sort of like swim up to the Great Padisha and bow lowly and says, "I hope my captain's choice appeases you, Great Padisha. The honor is mine, one that I take with great excitement." And and the Great Padisha, a little creepily, will be like, "I'm sure you will. Please, me." Lay down her cheek. And Tidewalker's like, "What?" And says, "Very well. Be glad. The powers of the Great Padisha I install upon you. Congratulations." And you guys feel this like almost reverberant wave of the tide, almost like a push towards Tidewalker and a pull from Tidewalker. It's very subtle, but you do see like this sort of this power. It's almost sixth sense feeling. This power sort of wash over Tidewalker as she is no longer just a fighter. Now she has the powers of magic and will have to develop her charisma skills promptly. And she says, "You honor me, great Felicia. I will endeavor to be your eyes and ears with great talent, and hopefully can uh, keep you entertained as well as my crewmate Etharrith did." The great Felicia says, "I hope you well know, Captain," looking at you, Ed, "that this contract binds you as well. So long as Tidewalker is a part of my power, she must remain with your crew in order, of course, to see the events of your revenge unfold. I hope that your journeys will not be boring."
Um, there's one thing, Your Highness, I can assure you. We've yet to have a boring day. Ever. Honestly, I've begged for them, pleaded, cried for them. I've done a lot of things hoping they would happen, but yet boredom does not find us. Not one bit.
I am glad to hear. I am glad to hear. If even half the tales you've told are true enough, it sounds I shall be indeed pleased. Very well, then. My new warlock, Tidewalker, will be crewed aboard your ship, the prophet's demise, until such a time as this evil, illicit prophet's end has been met and the revenge story complete. I expect, of course, my warlock will be shown the necessary accommodations aboard your ship, of course, now that she is a member of my court in one way or another. I expect that she will have a nice room aboard your ship.
Well, we're just prepping our cruise quarters, but we'll definitely make sure Sidewalkers well taken care of.
She goes, "Excellent, very well." And with that, the second part of my boon that I meant to impose. And with a flick of her wrist, you'll see very like Zelda style descending from sort of like the roof. You're gonna see this large, beautiful, slightly pink, white, purple pearl descend luminescently from the roof down towards you, Ed. And Ed, you can sort of do one of those as it sits like right there above you. And she says, "Indeed, the pearl of the great Parisha. As a reminder, it has within it the power to just once heal all of your crew members to the maximum of their vitality. To all who are on your ship and all who are loyal to its captain. And it will sit as a monument and testament and reminder to your visiting of my grand citadel. You're welcome."
Hey, you graced us so.
We bow.
Goes, "Indeed, I have graced you, so I will be interested to see your journey unfold. Now, thank you for visiting. It has been a most entertaining time. You may leave now."
I guess we leave with a new warlock.
Yep, Tidewalker swims in a sort of like dancey kind of way. She's very happy with herself, and you guys are shown out by the Myriad, who says, "Well done. People unadept at court usually don't fare so well in the company of the great Padisha. She can be temperamental, but well done." And he sees you back to your ship and says, "Do you need an?" Actually, he wouldn't offer. Be like, "Good luck on all of your journeys. Good day." And as you all board your ship, one at a time, they will watch your turtle ship begin to come back to life and move away. Do you intend to exit the plane of water? Does your crew?
I
Or
mean,
do you wish to stay and explore?
you know, we got a wizard to hunt, and days keep passing.
It's true.
Question: is it easy to get to the portal, or is there another thing that's like pulling us out? And
The thing is, we know
Uh,
where this portal is, so we can always come back.
we do. Now we have a navy, you guys. You know, we've got a whole kind of a navy, sort of, or maybe like literally the epitome of the embodiment of the ocean. And,
yeah, she's got some fucking powers, guys. If
mm,
anyone wants to roll I guess I'll call this a religion check. If anyone wants to roll a religion check to do with the Grand Padisha, to see what they've heard of her, go ahead.
12. Oh, low.
19.
Zalace, perhaps your visiting here was exciting because you've heard like fairy book rumor. Oh, Chaplain, what was
26.
that? Oh
20.
shit. Zalace and Chaplain, you guys have heard, but definitely you more than I think Zalace, you heard stories that kind of allude to the Grand Padisha, but Chaplain, you've heard these stories and known with certainty. Like when you got here, you knew who this individual was. Um, uh, and you would have heard some of the stuff she's capable of. Um, da, 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 da. They say that whenever she and her court have visited the prime material plane, her appearance has always been marked with torrential rainstorms, terrifying waves, and water spouts. She is her mere presence on the prime material planes elicits like a violent watery reaction from the world, uh, just by her mere presence, because she's so connected and commanding of the water and it follows her whim. So, not an entity you necessarily want to visit the prime material plane.
Nice.
Yeah, her very presence is kind of like a tsunami. But anyway, it sounds like you guys wish to return and continue your wizard hunt. You make your way back to the portal, which happily it seems to still be there. You make your way through and back into the pitch black of the deep seas of Kipari, and that portal behind you will shrink and close behind you, as that elemental plane does cease its existence. But you guys have left certainly wealthier in power than you came in. And you have a wizard to hunt. That was a very unexpected side quest, but I thought a very fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, you guys have gained yourself now. Your Triton is now gaining in warlock power, which is not an insignificant thing. And that's where we'll end the session there, as you guys have a wicked expensive pearl in your company.
That'll come in handy.
That will come in handy. You got a sort of trophy, a memento of your journeys, a very expensive memento.
I will come in handy at some point.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
a
all.
warlock.
I gotta head out right there. That was a lot of fun. Glad to be back.
Yeah, good job, guys. Good job. Have a great night. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.